How's everybody doing? I am DoxRyan, and my partner over there, the crazy Scotsman, Chris is in the house. Hey, how you doing, Chris?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you doing?
I had a good week, and I'm dreading the coming week, but we'll jump into that in a little bit. As always, with the lawyers in the corner threatening me, this is the Drunk Tank. We drink. If you're going to join us, make sure you are a legal drinking age for your region or area. And please remember to drink responsibly and do not ever drink and drive. With the legal mumbo jumbo out of the way, this week's episode, we have made it to half a dozen episodes, Chris. 6.
I know it's a special time. I've been celebrating it all day.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. So with that, I think this week we were kind of on the same page. We've had 5 episodes of really deep, really kind of heavy, like really good conversation. And I think episode 6, half a dozen, we're like, fuck it, let's do something fun. So
Pretty much. That was my kind of, just with how my weekend was going to be going, I thought there's no way that I would be able to put out a good topic if it was quite, being professional in this moment is a difficult one. So I thought, let's try and be fun and funny.
Right. So I mean, we are gonna have an interesting main topic. I like your main topic. We'll hit that, but most of our rambles, they're gonna be like storytime shit, because you wrote down your storytime shit. I'm gonna share some storytime stuff in my ramble, and then we got a couple game releases that look really enterprising, and then we'll do happy endings like we always do. So
yeah.
That being said, my man, before we get into what we're drinking, like, what was your week like? I know we talked a little off camera, but the listeners want to know, what was your week like?
My week was actually, midweek was okay. Work-wise, It was a bit quiet. I went up north, stuff like that. Put out all my really nice pictures on Twitter.
Yes, you did.
But over the weekend, Friday and Saturday, I didn't really have any work going on, so I just kind of chilled. Today, I had other things going on. So the week was actually, it was a decent week. Nothing bad happened. Nothing amazing happened. It was just, except for that I found some of the most amazing views.
Yes.
So that was pretty much my week as a whole. I can't really complain too much.
Yeah, if you guys aren't following Chris on Twitter, you should definitely follow him out. He takes great pictures of the surrounding environments of Scotland. It's wonderful photos he does, laddie. Great, wonderful pictures. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm happy with my photos. And it all comes just from my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew I didn't need a £1,500 SLR camera?
Yeah, facts. But yeah, definitely, like, I gotta post some of the pictures that you took for me and sent to me on Discord. I've been so fucking busy this week that I haven't had a chance to do it. So I was like, but yeah, dude, I love going to Twitter and watching you just post like your little cheeky videos or like your images around lunchtime, because I'm like, you son of a bitch, that's beautiful.
That's all right. That's the reaction I want. I want hatred and love.
Exactly. You get it all, baby. You get it all. But yeah, no, that's great, man. I especially, like I said, I like a lot of those little videos where you're just like, I love this country. I'm like, yeah, I can see why.
Hard not to have that reaction though. Like there's it still gives, like, I've been here 30 years, and it still throws up all these wee surprises that I still, like, I'll just come across. Like, that one was literally, I had a job up northwest of Scotland that I haven't really been, and it was just a very, very small village where you had to click. Like, I've got a video on my other phone, and it literally shows me climbing up the mountain in the van and just going into the clouds. Like, the clouds just are there, and it was a surreal moment. And even it was like when I was explaining it to like my friends and that here, it was almost like a spiritual awakening. It was just like I'd went back to simpleness. Like, everything in the world did not matter. There was no hatred. There was no nothing. It was just nature. And it was just such a big, mind-blowing experience. And then, but it's like, I've literally just climbed up. I mean, I think it was between, I hadn't eaten yet, and I'd had a lot of coffee. So I think maybe that played a bit more into it, but
Probably.
it was still a great experience in itself.
Yeah, it's funny because I've got a move coming up in 3 months. We were talking about it off camera. And the spot we're going to out on the West Coast is smack dab in the middle of like forest and like mountains, right? And then if you go 30 minutes west, you're at the ocean. But we went out to the spot we're going to like 2 years ago to do a scouting trip.
Yeah.
And you don't really notice how much you miss nature until you're in nature.
Yeah.
Like we went out there and like I live in the Midwest and I live between Milwaukee and Chicago. Like I live in a like 100,000 people town called Kenosha. Like it's literally concrete jungle between two major distribution hubs. So it's kind of concrete jungle means more concrete jungle. Like we've got nature, like we've got big parks and stuff, and we got the lake by us, but it's not nature. Like, you know what I mean? And where we're headed is like half the size of where we are now, and it's just surrounded by like Northwest forest. So it's like Jesus. And my kids are looking forward to it.
That's what you want. Like for us, like I'm in Glasgow. I'm in the East End of Glasgow, and it's like, but no matter where you are in Glasgow, you're a max an hour until you hit some form of not in a city. Because like even though Glasgow is like such a major city of Scotland, it's like I can literally go out my house and I can look out and I can see the rolling hills and the campsies and stuff like that literally from my house, and I'm in the middle of a major city.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I always feel. No, I just feel as if so many people are missing out in that kind of thing. When you talk about like London or many of the cities in like America and stuff like that, it's just such a major, amazing part that everybody should experience. And I'm really happy that you're finally getting that move to the nature kind of side, because Twitter's going to be interesting when we're now having nature battles of who can get the best picture.
I got you beat though, because one of the things I'm going to be doing on my Twitch channel is I'm a former certified scuba diver, so I'm going to get recertified. Bernadette's already letting me get a GoPro, so I'm going to do 2 hours of scuba diving, and then on Twitch we're just going to do just chatting with all my underwater footage playing in the background.
That's cool. Maybe I'll start getting back into my hiking, where I can just stream climbing up Ben Nevis and maybe travel all of the UK to Snowdon down in Wales and stuff like that. So maybe we will have a battle.
That's gonna be dope, because where we're going on the West Coast is like that's prime like whale territory and seals and sea lions and big fucking forests. And I was telling my kids, and I know we're going a little long on the opening round, but we don't really. For those of you that are listening, this podcast doesn't really have a structure today. This is just like we're gonna talk for 2.5, 3 hours about just shit, because it's been like 5 weeks of intense, amazing conversations, and we're just drinking beers and bullshitting today. So, what it is, get used to it. We love you for listening, but yeah, we're gonna be more random than we normally are, but. I've been talking to my kids a lot because we're coming up on the 3-month mark, and I'm like, your lifestyle is going to change. We're going to an area where your lifestyle is going to be completely 180 from where you are. Because right now, we live in like, and I say this in a non-derogatory manner, we live in a ghetto, bro. Just like, raw. It's not safe for my kids to play in the front yard. Like, we're in the backyard. You know, my neighbors are great. My street is okay. But, like, you go past my street and there's, like, trouble.
Yeah.
The area we're looking at now is, you know, a nicer, you know, not so socioeconomically depressed. There's more work opportunities. The people seem a lot more happier. We've got a few neighborhoods targeted that are in our, you know, our living, and they're very diverse. You've got, like, Asians, and you've got a nice diverse, because we're targeting an area that's like in around a major university.
Right.
So we've got that sort of youthful, vibrant energy. There's a lot of coffee shops and bowling alleys, and because I've got kids that are teens now.
Yeah,
they're going to be going. They're going on to the next step. So I gotta look at where best to suit them. So not only is this sort of a young, vibrant, diverse place, they're surrounded by forests and parks and rivers and hiking trails and bike riding and skateboarding. And then we're going to go to the ocean, because my oldest daughter's kind of weirded out by like fish. So I want to throw her in the ocean and be like, look, what's on your feet? She's like, ah!
That's an interesting take.
I like pushing her boundaries. She's a good kid, but I like kind of pushing her out. So one thing Bernadette and I have been talking about is like, lifestyle's going to change. We're going to prioritize going to the gym. We're going to prioritize going on bike rides because we can finally do that. We're going to prioritize being more active. I'm still going to stream my ass off and still work full time, but instead of coming home and watching TV or chilling because we're locked in the house for 6 months because of the ice and the snow, it's going to be comfortable for us year round to do stuff. So I've been trying to prep the kids and being like, you're going to see shit you've never seen before, and you're going to go do stuff you've never done before, and you're going to love it. And for the most part, all of them are like, dope, let's do it. My middle kid's like, I don't like outdoors. I'm like, sorry. We're going to go outdoors. We're going to be doing a lot of shit. The other thing too is I've already looked at a couple gyms that have scholarship memberships, so we can get low cost gym memberships, which have like pools and running tracks and weights. Because I want to get back into the gym because I'm a gym rat, and brother want to get swole again. I want to make the Rock look tiny.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for. We kind of got our roadmap out of lockdown kind of thing stymied. So I think the gyms here are looking to get opened kind of late April. Because that's the one thing that I've been missing is just, like, I used to go to the gym 5 days a week, and I was out running and I was doing this, I was doing that. Like, in the last year and a half, I think I've put back on about 30 kilo.
Yeah, me too.
Just with my work lifestyle and not being able to be active because everything got locked down here. Yep. Like, I know in America you went into a lockdown, but a lot of stuff was still able to be opened in that. We've went into a complete, shops had to shut, restaurants had to shut, bars had to shut, gyms had to shut. Nothing was allowed to be open except for essential shopping. So like your food stores and stuff. So we've not even been allowed to travel. You've not been allowed to travel out with your city unless it's for work.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
So it's been quite a tight one here. But I'm super excited to start getting back and just get back into that lifestyle of just feeling great about yourself.
We should have a bet. Once everything opens up, we should have a bet. We should take 6 weeks, and whoever loses the most or puts on the most muscle gotta buy the other one a bottle.
No, I could go with that.
Yeah, 6 weeks, either the most muscle mass or the most weight lost.
No,
whichever's greater. That way we can be accountable to each other and be like, you work out today? I'll be like, no. You'll be like, that bottle's mine. And then our listeners and the people who watch the show will be like, oh, if those guys can do it, so can I. And I've got fibromyalgia and shit. So like, if I'm going to try to push through and really bust my ass and deal with the pain and stuff, just to like get back to like that 6-pack and just looking all kind of like, bruh. They'll be able to do it too.
I'm a lazy bastard, so if I can do it, then...
Yeah, so I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited. I'm scared shitless because the drive. We're taking a U-Haul in our car, and we're packing the 2 kids and the dog in the van, and then my ex-wife is packing her cats and my oldest daughter, and we're all sort of driving out there together.
Yeah.
And it's a 33-hour drive, man. So we're going to have to... We're going to...
I mean, I've been on a drive like that before. I once drove from Glasgow to Finland, and I had to travel through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 countries to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a case of a 2-day, just we got a few hours sleep every night and then just batter through. We were supposed to sleep. There was a ferry that we took and it was like 8 hours. And we thought we'd be able to sleep on that, but they shut all the cabins for the daytime. So you couldn't rent a cabin.
No.
And where you couldn't find just an area to just chill. It was just people constantly, so you couldn't relax.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just up for those 8 hours as well. And by the time we got to Finland, we were like just zombies.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, we're going to have to stop every 3 to 4 hours to let the dog out to pee and poop and run around for about 20 minutes and let the kids out and stretch, because the plan is they all have phones. So I'm going to put like Netflix and shit on their phone and have them download a bunch of shit. And they all got headphones so like they can watch shit while we drive.
Yeah.
And so every 3 or 4 hours, we're going to stop, let them out, see some shit, and then crash for the night. And then get started in the morning and probably take 3-4 days to get out there.
Yeah. No, that's a better way to do it.
And then, take the week to get everything installed and set up and hopefully be back to podcasting and streaming and everything and kind of figuring shit out with work. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited, but I'm concerned, man. It's a 33-hour drive across the country, so many variables, but I think we're going about it the right way. And like every time I think about it, I have this really good vibe. So like I'm taking that as the universe going, yes, this is go forth, manifest it. This is the right thing. So I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Considering that your only doubt is the fact that you have a 33-hour drive, I would say it's a good steadings, because if that's the only thing you're worried about, there's plenty of other things that you could be. But if that's the only thing, then it'll be nothing. Like if that's the most difficult part, then it's going to be a great move, especially with the fact that you'll get away from this work. Like, that's the one thing that I think everybody in like your Discord and stuff like that's waiting for, is the fact that you'll finally be away from that and you're actually able to start making plans and stick to the schedules. Yeah. Instead of, we can't do it this week, we need to change it to this day. Everybody else, can you please change your schedules so that it goes with us? So
yeah, and that's one of the things I want to avoid too, is when I get out there, I don't want to go back into security. Because security is always available for work, but it's so unstable. So I'm looking at maybe hooking up with the forestry department, maybe hooking up with something, some other professions out there, like getting my scuba diving license and doing like salvage diving or cleaning up the rivers or something like that, because I'll have a more consistent time frame and I'll make more money. And hopefully in the next 3 months, the podcast, plug, blows up and you'll be like, hey, Dox, guess what? We got, X, Y, and Z. You don't need to work this month because all we got to do is shoot podcasts and you got to stream. So 3 months, listeners, viewers, make it happen. As I plug, shameless whore. But we kind of got off on the wrong foot. What are you drinking, buddy?
I am drinking Mena Brea, which is a very nice beer. It was another one that I picked up from down south. It's an Italian beer.
Ooh, okay.
It's quite nice. You can taste a heaviness. It's got a heavy flavour. It sits in your tongue for a good while. It's weird. It has a kind of... It's not quite... It is a generic beer. Like, it's a mass-produced beer, but it doesn't have that taste. It has a sort of craft taste. So it is interesting because it's one of the ones that I want to find it boring and I want to be like, oh, it's just the same as every other beer, but it's just not. It's an enjoyable beer. Like, I would happily go and get it again. Plus, it's a massive, big 660 milliliter bottle and it cost me £2.
That's a growler, right? That's the equivalent to like a growler?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know what a growler is.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So in bartending ease, you have like your bottles of beer. So like you got your standard bottle, and then your bigger bottles, like your half liters, are what they consider growlers. The big bottles. Those are technically consider what we call like a growler. You get like, so it's like 3 or 4 beers.
Yeah, well, I think a normal beer here is 330 ml, so this is literally double that.
Right,
so, yeah.
Oh.
But it's definitely an enjoyable one.
Okay, well,
really
is it like a porter, or because it says in your thing a bonda? Is that like a lager, a pilsner?
No, that's French for like white. It's just like a blonde beer.
Oh, okay, so it's a blonde. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, cool. And you said it was in your 6-pack, so probably around $2-3 again, like usually.
Yeah, I think it cost £2. It was just. Again, it was just another off-the-shelf kind of one, so...
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Off-the-shelf's not bad.
It was... I would try again, and I would say if you're out in your store... Because it's just a local store kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So, if you're out in your local store and you come across it, it's just Menabrea, E. Figley is the kind of brewery of it and all that kind of stuff. And
nice.
I would pick it up and get a go.
Yeah, man, that sounds good. This week, I'm drinking, I don't know if it's going to show up because my green screen, but I'm drinking Kentucky Vanilla Barrel Cream Ale. So, last week, I got the cream ale from Milwaukee Brewing Company, and it was sort of like a upscale Budweiser, and it didn't give me that sense of cream, like ale, like it just seemed like a tastier version of Budweiser, so I was like, this one is really different. There's something, it's got a very strong hint of vanilla. There's a very creaminess to it, but on the backside, you get that bourbon flavor because apparently, according to this, the beer has been aged in those bourbon barrels. So the depth of flavor in this one is way, way beyond last week's, the outboard last week. Like there is a creaminess, a vanilla-ness to it, and then you get that hint of that bourbon, and you get the hops that are a little toned down, but they come in on the back end on the bourbon. But you get that cream and vanilla up front. You get that bourbon in the middle, and then the hops sort of bring in. And dude, like I picked this up, I was like, ooh, a cream ale. I had one last week. Leaps and bounds. and I'm not saying the outboard was bad. Like the outboard was, like I said last week, it's an everyman sort of kicked up Budweiser. No shame on it. It's good shit. But I will drink this before I drink that outboard, 100%. It's more of a cream ale to me than the outboard was. And again, I always get for those of you that are listening, I always go to the store and I get like a pick and mix 6-pack because I don't like drinking or eating or watching the same things over and over and over again. So I just grab 6 different shit. Yeah. And what I've noticed is most of the beers that I bought in the 6-pack, if you were to buy them separately as a 6-pack, they were in about the 10 range, $10 to $12. So I've noticed a couple things about my taste in beer. One, I don't like the cheap stuff. Yeah. And I'm not trying to like throw shade. I don't like the Budweisers and the Coors, and I don't like the cheaper beers because they don't seem to have the depth of flavor or sort of the if I use craftsmanship, I'll be insulting them. That's not what I want to say. They don't have the sort of
love and attention.
Yeah, they don't have the love and attention of like sort of the smaller brews that I like picking up. And then 2, I noticed I don't like the flavor of regular beer. The beers I drink have to have some sort of complex flavor notes like vanilla cream or malted hops or like a pomegranate or the raspberry tart. Like there's got to be other flavor notes other than hops, water, and yeast. So
you want me to send you one of these stouts that I was talking about in Discord yesterday?
Yeah.
When I go back up north to pick it up.
Fuck yeah, dude. Send it my way. But, I mean, this Kentucky Vanilla, man, that's out of the 6 beers we've sampled, it's got to be in the top 3 so far. Like, number one, I love the shit out of that pomegranate. That pomegranate beer was just, ooh. And then number one is the Viking's Blood, right? Off tops.
Yeah.
Viking's Blood is the king of the drunk tank for me right now. 2, gotta have that pomegranate Hefeweizen or whatever it was. And then this Kentucky cream ale is just, as our mod extraordinaire Strange Tim would say, chef's kiss, baby. That shit's perfect. It's really a phenomenal beer. And I wasn't going to grab it because I had my eyes on another one. And I was like, And the other beer I was going to put in a 6-pack, you're going to get mad at this. In my store where I make my pick and mix, they had Guinness in a bottle.
I wouldn't really get mad at Guinness in a bottle. You need to transport it somehow.
Yeah, well, I was going to get the Guinness, but I went with the vanilla cream instead.
Yeah. Because what you'll find is Guinness do have different kinds. Because you have, like, nothing will beat Guinness draft. Like, on draft. You'll never beat that Guinness. In actual fact, you'll never beat draft Guinness in Dublin.
Right.
Even Guinness draft in Scotland or England or anything like that will not touch the Dublin.
We gotta go.
The Irish one.
We gotta go.
Definitely. I can take you right across.
Let's go.
But if you're going to get Guinness from like an import, is the bottle ones are different from the cans. Because see, if you get the cans, you can get canned Guinness draft, and it's got the ball in the can, so that when you're pouring it, it sort of
agitates it.
Yeah. So, like, if you were ever going to get a Guinness, and if you can find the canned Guinness, go can over bottle.
Okay.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that the bottle is anything to turn your nose at. Like, so long as you don't drink it out the bottle, as long as you prepare it right, like, you pour it into your glass, just a small amount in your glass, let it settle, then tip it up, let it settle, and then finish it and let it settle.
Yeah.
Then I don't think you can really go that wrong. So,
also, the mug's back this week. I cleaned it. But yeah,
I'm sitting with it at the bottle. I was like, I'm using my other glass to drink my. I've been drinking since about 11 o'clock this morning. Like,
well, yeah, you were watching the game.
I've got literally 2 different drinks that I'm drinking now. I've been drinking different things all day, so
we call that double fisting.
I can't really. Yeah, I call it a chaser.
Facts. But yeah, man, that's. But yeah, I've noticed that about the beers I've been selecting. I don't like that, and some of my friends who are like beer drinkers are like, you're a pussy. I'm like, I just don't like wheat, water, and hops. Like, I gotta have more, man. I'm like, don't you? And there's nothing wrong with those guys, but they're like, you just need to drink a beer. I'm like, fuck off.
What we should do one of these episodes is see ones like when you're going to be going and picking up like your 6 and I'm going to go and pick up my 6. What we should do is I'll send you the links to a couple of my local stores, and then you send me the links to a couple of your local stores. I'll pick your 6, you pick my 6.
Yeah, let's do that.
Go and enjoy whatever the other one got, because it will open up, because like, as you said, you go and you basically picked up the same sort of beers.
I'm trying to branch out.
Oh yeah, if you're trying to branch out, but it might be that extra. Like if I pick up beers that I like, I would try, it might just throw you that wee bit more. Like the pomegranate beer that you literally said you would never have really thought about. So,
but yeah, no, I love that idea. Right? We need to do that. We definitely need to do that. But yeah. So that I'll tell you right now, that fucking Kentucky vanilla. So good. Hey, yo, what brewery is this? Who is this? Kentucky, whatever company you are. Yo, bro, send more of this shit. It's so good. Well, hey, let's jump into tonight's topic, man. We've been rambling on for about 30 minutes. Let's bounce to the main topic tonight, and then we'll bullshit some more on our rambles, and then we'll wrap it up in a happy ending. So, tonight's main topic, fucking transition. Thank you. Tonight's main topic is content creation. The ins and outs of making content on Twitch and YouTube, TikTok, all of that stuff. Because You picked this topic, so I kind of want you to introduce it, and then we'll have a conversation. So go right ahead.
Yeah. No. Well, when I first picked this topic, I wasn't expecting to be this drunk, so bear with me. But when I first started that content, it was because I'd just been over the last couple of weeks with yourself, and the fact that your work's been busy and your computer's been down and stuff like that, and just the kind of work that you put into creating the content. And then over the last couple of weeks, I'm the one that's doing the kind of audio editing and stuff like that for Spotify and Amazon and stuff like that. And then the last couple of weeks, I've been doing the editing for the video to go onto YouTube. So, like, I've kind of been having to spend, like, my experience has been, we'll record the podcast on a typical Monday night. Through the time zones, it's 1 a.m. for me. Right. That means it's roughly about 3 a.m., 4 a.m. before we finish the podcast, and then we'll have a kind of half an hour of it's kind of just like a little chat after it, discussing bits and pieces. So it's like 5 a.m. before I go to my bed. Right. And then you'll take out the audio file, rip all that, and send me it. Yep. When I get up at like 9 a.m., I'll download everything, and then I'll start going through it. And because there's like 3.5 hours sometimes of audio that we've recorded, I then have to go through everything, editing out the kind of silences, the ums and the ehs and stuff like that. But I have to go through everything. So a 4-hour audio turns into a 8-9 hour listening period, because you need to stop, start, take it a bit, go back to before it, so you can see if it transitions and it lines up right and all that. So my experience is I'm literally doing one podcast, one audio edit, and it's taking me an entire day. Now, that goes down to the fact that I've never done it before. I've not got experience. I'm still learning the tricks and the tips and that kind of stuff. So, like, I know it'll get easier and quicker the longer it goes on, but it just gave me that mind-blowing thing of, I can't imagine having to do that every single day, because where would you fit in streaming and editing, streaming and editing, because you're having to do both. But then when you add in a day job as well, and it's like watching the likes of Titan Naughty, who has his day job.
Love Titan Naughty, by the way.
Oh, he's fantastic. I mean, I give him a hard time because I mod for him. But
yeah, we're friends. Bust his ass.
I found a thing on Twitter today, and somebody else said, if your mods don't roast you every stream, are they your mods?
Facts.
So it's reiterated that I'm the #1 mod, because I do not let anything go by him. So it's like watching him, and he'll stream kind of like sometimes like a Sunday evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then he works Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like 12-hour shifts and stuff like that. So he gets the kind of start of the week, but he also has to fit in everything else to go by it. And then you like, say, UK Monster, who...
all he does is stream.
Yeah, he streams every day, apart from the weekends, but he's got a daughter.
Yep, and he does YouTube
he has
too.
To bring up and stuff like that, as well as put out content. You've got the like, say, Smoky Skulls, who manages to stream whenever he can, but he has to fit it around his job, his kids and stuff like that as well. So it's like, I was just wanting to kind of get to shed the light on the kind of sacrifices and the mental output and time commitment that when somebody's talking about, I want to create content, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a Twitch streamer and that, it's the aspects of that role that don't get enough light shed on it. Like, you hear about, it's like, oh, you get invited to these Twitch parties, you get to game for a living, you get paid to do this, paid to do that, but nobody talks about, yeah, but you don't get to sleep. Yeah. You don't get to go outside, you don't get to socialise with people, because yeah, you can socialise with people, but are these people socialising with you because they like you, or is it because of your clout? Are they just trying to get involved with you because you might be able, you're a streamer yourself and stuff like that? So it's like, there's so many avenues of it that don't get enough travelling before somebody decides to be. Like, if you get any form of success on Twitch or YouTube, you don't have a private life.
Yes.
You get your celebrity status where nothing that you do is allowed to be private. And if you make a single mistake, it goes back to one of our first conversations on the podcast. That if you make a simple mistake, nobody wants to give you the time or the effort to educate, understand, and better yourself. It's just an automatic, you fucked up, that's it, everything gets taken away from you. So it's like, I just wanted to try and shed the light on that aspect of it, like what the mental output, like the real mental output, like taking away the good things that come from it, like the communities you create, the friends that you do make, the people you meet, the games you get to play, the money, if it comes, that you get to make just for playing video games and stuff. But it's the nitty gritty stuff I want to know.
Yeah.
Because having done it for the one day a week, it's a strain.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm doing it on, like, I'm trying to run another aspect of my life and my work that takes up 18, 19, 20 hours a day in my own life. So I just want to get your take on that.
Yeah, okay. So you set that up perfectly. You laid out a lot of really good information. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it down in a couple ways because I've been streaming as an affiliate streamer for 2 years now, but I've been streaming a total of 3 years. And my schedule is like this. I work a 45-hour a week job. So I get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm at work by 7. I'm home by 4. Come home, say hi to the fam, check on the kids, discipline, whatever I got to do. Make dinner that the girlfriend's thawed, cook it all up, eat dinner, visit, do stuff. Down in my lab live by 7 o'clock, and then I do 5 hours live. So not only did I put an 8-hour day in at work, I did another 2 to 3 hours with the family. Then I came down and did another 5 hours on camera. Camera ends at 11 or midnight. The next hour is updating the feeds, social media, dumping the viewers to a host, then checking for tomorrow's stream, what's on the docket, what commands need to be updated, getting all that ready so that when I come home from work the next day, everything's ready to go. And then that's the cycle that I do 4 days a week. So I stream typically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I take Wednesday, Thursday off for the family. But so that's 45 hours a week at work, and then roughly between 15 and 30 hours a week on camera. Okay, let me stress that. That's on camera. Anytime I'm off camera, or especially Wednesday and Thursday, if my kids don't want to like hang out or they're like, Dad, you go do you, I spend another 15, 20 hours watching streams, social media networking, updating commands, updating all the timers and stuff on the chat bot, doing project work, viewing artists for new merch, checking all my the merch dashboard for the store that I have, doing all my affiliate business for like Humble Bundle and the other affiliate stuff I have. So that's another 15 to 30 hours a week off stream. And then somewhere in there, I have to eat, sleep, and be an understanding partner to my girlfriend and a dog dad. So mentally, you gotta be mentally tough to realize that you're gonna be making sacrifices, and in that sacrifice, you have to find the balance of, well, my self-care or my family time or my dog or my work needs more attention. So you're kind of spinning all these plates while you're half asleep. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And in no way, shape, or form am I saying that this is a bad thing, because it's been rewarding, but I don't go out. Like, since my computer's been down and I can't stream, like, we can barely record the podcast on my rig. I've been able to jank it and Frankenstein it where we can continue to do the podcast. But like, since it's been down, my girlfriend and I went bowling. You know, I've played video games for fun. I've been able to just go upstairs and lounge on the couch for the first time in 2 years. Like, it is a grind, and I don't mean a grind in a negative sense, because it is grindy. But you're building your business, you're building your brand, so the grind is different than grinding at the day job I hate. It's a welcome grind. And I've seen things online where like, oh, it shouldn't be a grind, it shouldn't be a grind. Well, anything you want in life takes work. And
definitely.
You gotta work. Like my friend Hell's Phoenix, who comments on your YouTube videos, because I can't handle the export to YouTube anymore. So we've been hosting the video version on your YouTube, which is, I'm cool with that. Because I don't edit my version. I just export the entire goofs and all that shit to my YouTube of the podcast. Oh yeah,
that's pretty much what I've just been adding in, like the title and that kind of stuff now, because we don't have the overlays, so it's always unedited in YouTube, because I like to keep it unedited.
Right.
The nitty gritty.
So the person that's been commenting a lot, Hales Phoenix, she's a good friend of mine. Like, she's like my best friend's wife. She's a published author who's starting to get published. And she told me, hey man, the streaming content creation grind is just like the author grind. You have to pre-write, pre-plan, edit, proofread, social media, look at contracts. Like, if you want to make content creation your thing, there's so many things that you need to understand that go into it, other than just turning on a camera and playing a game. If you want to be successful. If you just want to say fuck it and YOLO and play games on stream, that's fine. But if you want any type of success, you have to think of, one, your channel is you are your brand. So you got to think about your logo, your channel design, your presentation, your camera, your microphone, all of that, even before you hit the go live button. Take the podcast, for example. You and I were talking about the podcast for a month or two before we did it. We're like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? We had endless conversations of like, how do we want to do it? How do we want to format it? And even now, it's evolved from what we originally talked about. In a good way, I feel.
Yeah.
So the podcast, you said a great example of the podcast. We do 3 to 4 hours, sometimes conversation that gets cut down to 2.5, 3 hours. Then after the podcast wraps, we do the 30 minutes, hour bullshit, talk about what we did wrong, what we did right, how we felt about the topics. Then you hit the rack, and then I spend another 2 or 3 hours ripping the audio from the video. Then I go into the audio and I do all the rough edits. I cut out the pops and the clicks and the background noise and the hisses, and I take out the mic peaks, so it's a solid listening. Then I shoot that all to you, and then you edit. You do the fine editing. You cut out the ums and the dead air and stuff. So we do the podcast. I do 3 hours extra. I go to bed. I get up, and then you do the whole day of editing the video and editing. So your job as a content creator doesn't end when the camera goes off.
Definitely not. That's what I've found.
And it's one of those things where you're like, you watch successful streamers like Tim the Tatman and Summit1G and Pokimane and all these other people, and they're like, wow, they have these great lives where they're out partying and everything. Yeah, because they're at where they are one point doing what we're doing, and now they have editors and a media team and videographers and social media managers who take a lot of that one-man show off their plate. Whereas in the beginning, you're a 1 or 2 man show. You and me, with the podcast, we're a 2-man show. We tag team the editing and the uploading. But on like my streams that aren't the podcast, aside from you and Tim and a few other people who mod it, it's all me. All the editing, all the presentation, all the content, it's all me. All the social media, all the brand stuff. Like when we return to streaming, you and I were just talking off stream, I want to come up with kind of a couple events. I want to launch with new artwork, and I want to launch with a new t-shirt design to kind of say, this is what the community has done for me. This is their return. This is what we were able to do thanks to you guys putting the computer together and really focusing on. We really appreciate Dox's content. We really appreciate the way he does things. We want to make it so that he can continue to do those things. And in my response is, okay, you did your part. Now my part is to make the graphics better, to come out with a new t-shirt design so that we have new things to show for what the gift you've given so that we can go to the next level.
Yeah.
Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but that's where my head's at right now. So just in those decisions alone, I have literally emailed 24 different artists between overlays, logo design, and t-shirt artists to kind of pitch them ideas. So I'm interviewing 24 separate proposals, cost to production analyses. I'm now communicating with other artists on how to do screens and overlays, because for me, even though it's a long shot, Twitch is something I want to do, but I want to be successful at it. So I'm taking it upon myself to do all these other things, to think of it as a brand, to bring in good partners like you. And eventually when we get sponsors for the show, we want to have partners, not just like people that do what we want them to do or throw money at us. We want partners that we can rely on and trust to kind of grow our brands with us. Like you and me with the podcast, you on your own, once you get more situated where you can do more content creation like you were talking about off camera, and then just me continuing to grow my brand. The problem I have is with work and kids and a dog and streaming, I don't have time to do the YouTube element so much.
Yeah.
So I just shoot 20-minute vlogs where I get on and talk about my life. Now, a lot of other streamers will cut highlights of their streams and stuff together. I honestly don't have the time or the mental capacity to sit 12 hours and comb through 8, 10, 20, 30 hours of a week stream to get like a 15-minute video. I just don't have it mentally, physically, or chronologically. I just don't got it. Eventually, I'd like to get to that point, and I know it's a big component of growing, but I'm hoping that exports of the podcast and vlogging will get people interested in the Twitch side of things, because they're like, I know this guy from his vlogs and from the podcast. Let's go check out his other shit on Twitch. And for me, my growth is slow because I don't do the rat race. I don't do the grind. I don't do the trends on Twitch. And I don't do the popular shit. And if anybody does, I'm not throwing shade. That you do you. I appreciate you. You do you. But for me, it doesn't interest me. Shit like Call of Duty or Battlefield, they're not my bag. They're not my thing. Doing RPG shows and highlighting indie games and doing like interesting voice work stuff. That's where my head gets excited. That's where my teeth get wet, or my mouth gets wet for content creation.
Yeah. Because
it's different. And different is going to grow slower. So I've got streaming friends that started after me and have shot past me. And I'm not hating on them. I'm like, kudos. You yes, do it. And I've done everything I can to support them. And they've, by proxy, done everything they can support me. And a big mental struggle for me in the Twitch game especially was, early on was, it's a guy with a headset and a Papa San chair playing Call of Duty, not doing nothing, and he's blowing me out of the water. Or I also had the problem of, I mod for a bunch of guys, and I think I'm a better mod than I am a streamer, so maybe I should just stop streaming and mod for them because I have more time to mod than I do a lot of other stuff. And when I pitched that idea to a couple of my friends, they were like, fuck you, I'll unmod you. No, not happening. You're not quitting streaming just to mod, because you, even with everything you deal with and the mental burnout and everything, you're still an amazing entertainer. You're still an amazing streamer. Don't stop. If you don't have the time to mod for me because you need to stream more, do that. Yeah. And that's another part of the game you don't see, is the social networking. Like, you don't grow if you don't hang out with other people. Yeah. Because the quickest way to get the quickest way to grow is to go about hanging out and getting your name out there respectfully. You don't just jump into someone's Twitch chat and go, guys, look at me, I'm a streamer too. Yeah. No, you hang out, you actually form a connection. And like, if you're a streamer in my channel, you come in, you hang out, and if you're like chill for a while, I'll eventually go, hey, are you a viewer, are you a streamer? Because you seem like a cool dude. If you say, yeah, I'm a streamer, then I will open the door and go, what do you stream? Go follow this guy, he's a cool dude. But if you drop in and be like, hey, Dox, I'm a streamer, I'm gonna be like, sorry, dude, bounce. Not happening. Yeah. You're not going about it the right way. Because
there's a time and place.
Yeah, you don't wanna try and poach. And then you mentioned are they hanging out with you because you're you, or are they trying to build their name off the back of you?
Yeah.
That's a huge problem in the content creator space. Like, there's countless people that you could look at and be like, oh, well, they're just clout chasing, or they're just collabing with that guy to get their name out there. And I think that I haven't had that happen to me because, like I said, I'm not real big right now, but I have seen it with a couple of my friends who are kind of big, who started out smaller like I did, but have kind of shot up a little bit. And it doesn't have to be like that. And I'm really annoyed that it does happen, because I don't want to sound pessimistic here. So in a way, crime does pay. Because some of those guys that have had clout chased and coattailed, they've shot past those guys they started with. Yeah. And left, and it's fucking disgusting that they would do that. Ooh, I'm getting a food delivery. Woo! String cheese! I just got a food drop. By the way, they don't sponsor us, so I won't show it, but this string cheese from Wisconsin, I'm gonna have to mail you some, because it is glorious. But
well, on that, I brought that up because I've heard other streamers, like bigger streamers, streamers at like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 average viewers and stuff like that, that they've tend to talk about the same thing, and that you never know what these people are coming in to be friends and all that kind of stuff, who they sharing the information with, right. Which is just a disgusting kind of thing. The reason I brought it up is because I'd been making a couple of jokes, because obviously the reason why whenever I talk about what started this pod, like you were talking about how we spoke about this podcast for a month and a half, in and out.
Yeah, but it's your baby.
And then we said I'd been thinking about doing this podcast for a year before I'd even mentioned to you. So like it's been running through my mind, and I've been having these plans, and this is how I want to do this is how I do that. And then it kind of evolved into what it is today. And like you said, I'm not bitter about it. Like, I know what I had in mind was different from this, but I'm enjoying how this is rolling out and how this is going. But the reason why I was joking about it is because I was watching another streamer at like 4,000 viewers and stuff like that with Tim. So like me and Tim were in the same stream, but never ever talked to each other or knew about each other. And it wasn't until they raided Titan that we then kind of stuck around with Titan and met Titan and stuff like that. And then it was Titan raiding you that then moved us on to you. Yep. And then it's been like, since that, there was a good 3 months where I was in Titan stream timing like mods and all that kind of stuff. And then I was in your stream timing with you. And then I started playing online at like Paladins and stuff with Titan. And then that's when I kind of got that confidence and started streaming with you guys at like League of Legends and doing the RPG, which I'd never even like. I still to this day keep on talking about how I feel bad for yous that yous use every episode I'll turn around and go, right, so what am I doing?
You're fine, you're doing great. Speaking of the RPG, once we make the move towards the end of summer, we're gonna bring something back. We're gonna get something going, because I feel bad how that shit had to get shelved. Like, it's on the docket. We're gonna bring something back for everybody.
Oh, that's fair. We'll get there. But Yeah, so it's things like that. And then the likes of like Monster, it's quite funny because I started following Monster back in maybe October, November, because you raided him. But I never ever went back into his streams just because I had so much other things going on, and he would stream when another streamer would stream that I enjoy watching. It just never ever synced up. And it's only been since about January, late January, start of February, where I've started dropping in more of his streams and stuff like that, which has been good. But yeah, so it's like getting to kind of like meet him, and then meeting like Bill Bob and stuff like that. I've played with Bill Bob once or twice through Titan as well, on like Apex and stuff. But the only reason I brought it up was because I think it was Monster raided Smoky Skulls,
right?
And I think it is Juice Moose or Moose Juice. I think it's Juice Moose.
Juice Moose, yeah, his buddy.
They were, and we kind of sat in their stream, and they were doing like marbles and stuff like that. And Smokey randomly messaged me like last week or something like that, asking if I'd ever played that Elite, what was it called?
Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, Elite Dangerous. And when I'd Googled it, it came up that I'd already previously searched for it. So I knew it must have been a game that I wanted to play. And then when I seen it again, I was like, oh no, that was a game that I wanted to play, but my computer wouldn't run it and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, well, mine's is, you can get it on PlayStation. And I was like, well, that's brilliant. I can play it on PlayStation. That'll be perfect. So, but obviously with the likes of like time zones and stuff like that, it's no thing, because I'd said we'll try and get somewhere where we can play, because I think he plays it with like Juice Moose and that. And I was making the kind of...
That's good, not you. I'm listening.
No, it's where I can take this part out of the audio file.
Okay.
So that it's not coming through on Spotify. But yeah, when I was talking about it, because I was sitting there, I was like, does he want to play with me, or is it because I'm Scottish? Is he trying to use my accent to get him views? And it was like, I wasn't meaning it, and like that was what I was just having that kind of laugh. Is that like, because you're like, well, it can't be because he wants to get on my clout, because I don't stream, so what clout the fuck do I have?
Right, but exactly.
That kind of way. I was sitting there, I was like, how dare he try and use my Scottishness to try and get himself viewers to come and watch his stream. And it's that kind of way, like, you know, for the Discord and all that kind of stuff, I always joke about, like,
you're the show.
If I've got the biggest ego that goes around, when in actual fact I'm the most insecure person that worries that I'm being stupid, or I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. So, but it's just that kind of ongoing joke, because even in like Titan stream, I'm always talking about how I'm number one mod, I'm the best mod, I'm the best thing, mate, and that kind of stuff. But it's just all just a running gag for me. But it's just that kind of way I was having a joke. I was like, these people are just using me because they know Scottish accents are sexy, and they'll get all the views and they'll get all the follows, and then I'll get cast to the side.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, your accent drives the ladies wild and the men, so I'm definitely using you for your Scottishness, you asshole. I'll divulge my ulterior motives right out in front. Hell yeah, I'm using that accent, bitch. Let's go.
But it just kind of timing me where it's like, it's just been such a nice thing of meeting Titan, and I really do enjoy gaming with Titan, because Titan plays the games like Apex and like we've not played Call of Duty together because I don't have the actual Call of Duty. I just have Warzone, because I'm not willing to pay 60 quid for a game that I can play the free version.
Yeah, right.
Like,
fuck that shit.
That's it. Plus, because I don't have a great deal of time, it's difficult to justify paying £30 or £60 for a game when I'm not going to get the time to play it, apart from maybe 2-3 hours at a weekend.
Yeah.
The same with Apex. It's a free game. I can play it when I want.
Right.
But he enjoys playing the likes of like Paladins, and we played Spellbreak together and that kind of stuff. And I enjoy those games. And then when I move on to like yourself and Tim and Dread and stuff, and Outsider and Zim. It's like the League of Legends and stuff like that. That I like, even though I'd never played it before, and I'm terrible at it.
You're fine.
It's still the kind of camaraderie and just having a laugh. And then moving on for there, talking about Zim. So playing the likes of Stardew Valley. We're talking about, there's a new game out, Mr. Prepper, which is about prepping for like the end of the world and that kind of stuff. And he's going to stream it, or try and stream it kind of like tomorrow night. I'll just try and get a bit more streaming. And I'm really excited for that because I really enjoy Zim's streams, because his streams are a lot more chill. The games he plays isn't like the shooting games or like your Hades and stuff like that.
Yeah, the hectic madness that is my game.
But it's like playing the likes like Stardew Valley, Final Fantasy. There's been another couple of games that the names escape my mind, but it's that similar. You're in control of a team, and it's like click and fight and move on in the stories. It's just it's just a chill, more chill vibe, because I joke about it, but there has been times where I've just fell asleep to his stream on because it's just such a chill kind of go. And then, but at the same time, we can't see anything, because one stream he fell asleep on stream while I was watching him. So even he gets drawn in with his end streams because they're just chill and brilliant. And then you move on to the likes of like Monster and stuff, and his kind of streaming, and his is a lot more like community based. He gets everybody involved. He's got his channel alerts, he's got his bits things and rewards and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to start trying to watch a bit more of Smokey's stuff. The problem is his timing that he streams. I'm either in my bed or I'm at work and stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem with me and Smokey too. I can't watch this stuff because I'm at work or in bed. Yeah,
but I have been trying to. I've been watching a few of his streams, kind of like offline, like his previous streams and that, just to get his content and stuff. Because I still feel like, even if it's an offline thing, it's still a support.
It does. It helps.
So that's the way I kind of think it, because it's the same with like your streams. When you were streaming while I was having to proper work, the way my days would work is I would wake up the next morning and immediately start watching your stream while I was getting ready for work, getting my breakfast, getting everything sorted, so that I was still seeing the stream that was going on. But it was just 12 hours later. So it's just being on this side of the kind of content creating, it's kind of opened my eyes to just what goes into, and it's more the what goes into it, with the fact that you've got your own real lives behind as well, that you're having to, like, as you said, you're coming in from work, you're having to then put the food on the table and all that kind of stuff for your family before you can then get down the stair. And it's the same. I'd imagine it's the same for a lot of people. And like you spoke about how like the bigger streamers now will have like their editors and stuff like that, and it's like, but they've also still got the real life stuff. They've got the drama stuff, the public stuff, the media stuff, the stuff that come up that shouldn't be coming up, the things that they have to deal with that they shouldn't have to deal with. So it's like, even though some aspects of their streaming and content creating lives have taken away, it's kind of filled in with the bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Never get away from that grind. It's just the grind changes.
It evolves, and not necessarily in the best way.
Exactly. So it's like, in no way would I ever turn around and say that somebody that can bring in an editor or somebody that can bring in a management team and all like that don't put in as much work as somebody that's starting off small, because they're still putting in the same work. It's just different work.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level for sure.
It's like you'd said about Hell's Phoenix and how she's a published author and stuff like that, and she was saying that it's not as different from content creating because of the work that you have to put in. And I think the only way, like, I'm kind of drawn to the end of this kind of topic to move on to the next ones. So like my final kind of thing in it would be more like, when you're looking into content creating, don't go into it thinking that it's different, that you're superior, or it's like you're getting the best deal, because the likes of Hell's Phoenix that's doing her author or writing and stuff like that, and the work that she has to put in, you look at me and trying to we're trying to set up this other business, the logistics and stuff like that, and I'm out having to do sometimes 12, 16-hour days out on the road where the only money that we get brought in is for half of that day.
Right.
So it's like I'm doing 6-7 hours unpaid work in order to try and rifle up. And then the other chap that's involved in it, he's got other things that he's also having to work on to keep everything afloat. So it's like, no matter what you're doing in life, be it content creating, be it startups, be it writing, be it anything else, if you want to get anything out of it, you need to put in the grind, you need to put in the hard work, you need to do the bottom of the barrel scraping in order to make it work. Don't think your work is any easier or harder than the next person. Don't think that you're having to go through a lot more because you're a content creator and you're having to deal with this, and this, because somebody else that's in a different line of work is still having to go through the exact same hard work slogfest that you're having to go through. It's just a different slogfest.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I think that's what content creators get hit with, is most people that are in normal society jobs,
quote unquote normal.
Yeah, let's put it that way. Look down on content creators or you just sit at a computer all day and that kind of stuff, but they don't see what goes in behind the scenes. They just think, well, I'm having to work all day, 9 hours a day doing this, then I have to go home and do it. And you're like, but so do most, like all these content creators. It's their job as well. They don't, it's not as if they just go live and as soon as the live work starts, they've got an hour of talking to like their moderators and stuff like that to get everything set up. Before that, they were thinking about what their content's going to be, getting the final touches in. Before that, they were still trying to come up with final aspects of the content they're wanting to produce. Then once they've come off the camera, they're then having to think of, how am I going to edit this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Then thinking about the next day, the next stream, the next video that they're going to put out. So it's like, don't think that people that are on Twitch and YouTube have it any easier than you, because at the same time, you can. I like to look at it in a sports way as well, and that content creating, like you're playing video games and that kind of stuff, and like they're getting paid all this money just to sit at a computer, and you're like, well, at the same time, football players are getting paid all this money to run about and chase football.
Yep.
Like, but the hard work that footballers put in to make sure their career to get to that point, that's what makes them worth what they're getting paid. And it's the exact same with content creator. If you put in the work, you'll get the pay that you deserve in the work that you put into. But it's to remind people that it might take, you might get that lucky break 6 months down the line, one of your clips goes viral and that snowballs everything through. It might be 3, 4, 5 years down the line before you get that one thing. The main thing is remember what people are looking at is that your content, for me, is first and foremost. If you're not putting out decent content, who's going to stick around? Like, I know the likes of like cameras and stuff like that and your setups and that are important, but it's like, you can have a really fancy camera, but why would people want to come and watch your HD if they don't like the content? Yeah. So there's like so much more you have to put in before you start fine-tuning things. So don't just go into it thinking, oh, I'll just play video games and it'll work for me. Because you have to remember, through this lockdown especially, Twitch and YouTube is such a saturated market right now. You have to be steps beyond. You can't be just another streamer because we've got 50,000 of them. We don't need another one. We need entertainment. We need that something different. And when you've got that something different, you will see everything start to snowball. It's the same in any thing. So me and logistics, there's plenty of logistics company. You've got the main US Mail, the Royal Mail, that do logistics. But as a company, we need to be a step beyond. We need to offer that something different that will make customers come back. It will make customers use our service over any other service. that's what content creating to me is like, is that you need to offer that something different that the 20,000 other streamers on Twitch daily can't offer. And that's where you will start to gain your success.
Yeah, that's a great point to kind of end on, how you kind of encapsulate everything. I think for my final thoughts, I just kind of want to fine tune some of your points. Streaming and content creation is something that is, this is going to sound weird, but it's a co-optional sport. Okay. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times you will meet people that you gel with and you can collab with and you can grow with. But then there's a lot of times where you're looking at the category and there's 25 other people ahead of you, or there's 50 or 100 other streamers in that same category that you're competing against that aren't necessarily on your team. So you have to be able to bring some sort of uniqueness to it. Like you said, you have to have some sort of element to your character, to your presentation, to the way you the way you present content has to be something that within the first 30 seconds to a minute, something goes, all right, I'm in. I'm going to watch this. Yeah. And once you get them, you got to have something that keeps them. So if you have that viral clip and the viral clip isn't necessarily indicative of your stream as a whole, doesn't matter if a clip blows up. If your stream isn't like that clip, they're not going to stick around. Conversely, if people come to your stream and you don't have a viral clip, but they feel you should be bigger, that's a kudos to you, because a lot of times I hear compliments because you bring up Monster a lot. I don't remember exactly how I found Monster. UKZ Monster on Twitch, by the way, he's huge. He's amazing. I think he was in a stream that I was in, and I do modding and voice work for a stream channel called Silver Studios. I voice the mascot of the channel. I do all the voice work for his skull mascot. And I think one night I was modding and Monster was in the chat and was like, yo, the character's dope. Who does the character? Like, that's not your voice. Who the hell is that? Well, bless you.
Bless you.
Chris says bless you too. My buddy Drew runs Silver Studios, and he's like, oh, that's my guy DoxRyan. Well, then I got a whisper from Monster. He was like, hey, I've got this character. Can we maybe hook up and do something? And my response was, let me come by your channel, see what you're all about, and then we'll talk. And the week or two I was watching his stuff, we kind of hit it off. And I was like, yeah. And now when people go by his channel, they're like, who the hell is Marvin? Who does his voice? Yada, yada, yada. And it's like, oh, that's my guy, Dox. So for me, a lot of my uniqueness comes in the fact that I do off-peak Twitch stuff. I do the voice work. I do the RPGs. I do like just random like indie stuff. And on my channel, I've got my own 50 different voice commands. I've got a dozen unique channel rewards. So not only is my presentation and my content unique in the fact that it's not everything that Twitch does, but I'm also unique on Twitch.
Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword, like I said earlier. My uniqueness also prevents me from growing as fast as I could because I don't do the mainstream, and I'm totally happy with that. That's what I'm always gonna do. Volume down a little bit, guys. The noise gate's working, but it's still picking up a little bit. It's okay. But that uniqueness works in two ways. And the last bit, if you want to do content creation, always think, how can I stand out? And also realize that everything you do on camera, you're going to do double off camera. You're going to do double the hours off camera that you do on camera, especially if you want to make any kind of progress. If you just want to throw a camera on and play video games, that's fine. You're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get one or two people, and that's fine. One or two people is fine, but you're not gonna make content creation your career if you don't spend that time off screen. So be prepared to make the sacrifices. Be prepared to spend double your on-camera time off screen. But I know we talked about more of the mental drain of it. My end point will be, if you do those things and people start to show up and the right people show up, you will have friends and community that you won't believe. And like we talked last week, you guys are the prime example of doing things the right way, because for years I've been streaming. For the last couple months, we've really made some strides. We've really built the community. And then my shit's hit a spiral, just gone. My computer's dying. I don't got the funds to replace it. I make a tweet and a Discord post, not saying help me, just this is the facts. This is what's going on in my life. And instantly everybody was like, we got you. So the grind and the time you spend, and if you do it the right way, I don't know how to case how I feel, because it makes me overwhelmed with positivity and the feelings of, yes, I'm doing something right, but it terrifies me with, oh my God, what the fuck are they doing? Like, why? Don't do that. Like, ah. So put the time in, do it the right way, and you'll reap the rewards. It may take time, or it may happen instantaneously, but that's all the flip of the coin.
Yeah.
As long as you do the grind, though, you'll weight the coin in your favor.
Oh, definitely.
So,
I definitely agree.
I think that was a great topic. Let's move on to, now, traditionally, for those of you that are new to the podcast, we have what we call rambles. We're not doing those today. We're going to combine the two rambles and just call this segment Story Time with D and C, because we're just about to tell a bunch of fucking stories about our life and what we do and some of the crazy ass adventures we had, because fuck it, why not? It's our show. Let's go. So, why don't you jump off? Tell me some of these. What do you got in there? You said you got, what do you got? You got drunken stories and traveling. So drop it. Let's go. Tell me what you got.
Yeah, well, I wasn't really going to start anywhere. It was more just kind of, let's see if we can segue into different kind of topics.
Well, consider this the segue.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I just kind of thought, like, I knew earlier that I wasn't going to be in a position to sit and have proper, like, oh, we have to discuss this, we have to discuss that. So I thought it might be fun just to sit and try and share a little bit about
story time, baby.
Yeah, like, to kind of learn that little bit about it. Like 6 episodes in, let's actually learn the people behind the mics.
Right.
And then I thought, what better way to do it than to discuss a Scottishman getting absolutely leathered in different countries and trying to find his way home.
All right, let's go. I'm in. So where have your steaming adventures taken you, my friend?
Far and wide.
Far and wide. Far and wide, he says.
Like, I've been up in Finland, where we had a nice drunken time with where it was, I used to travel with a superbike team. One of my best friends from Holland, she used to ride bikes, road racing and stuff like your Northwest 200 and stuff like that. Proper superbike racing. And she started doing the international road racing, which is kind of like a European event.
Right.
You would have, like, I think it was like 8 rounds in different countries throughout Europe. And we travelled like that. When we got to Finland, Finland was the good one. Finland was the middle of the year, where I left Glasgow, drove 9.5 hours to the bottom of England at Dover, took a 2.5 hour ferry to Calais, and then I had another 5.5 hour drive all the way up to Rotterdam. I got to Rotterdam at about 2 p.m. because I'd been driving from about 8 p.m. the night before, because I had work that day from 8 a.m. till 6. got home, quick something to eat, change, wash, everything, into the car, and made a beeline back down south. Got there for 2 p.m, had a quick sandwich, 3 p.m, started loading up the van, and drove from Rotterdam up to Hamburg in Germany.
Jesus.
Where we were picking up another rider's bike to take up, because he was having to work, and he couldn't get, the transporter was at full, so he couldn't get his bike up, and he was having to fly.
Oh, Jesus.
So we were like, right, well, we'll take your bike up if you pay like half the travel.
Right.
And then he can just fly up and he'll get there. So we went to Hamburg and picked up his bike, got there at about 11 p.m. that night. So that's me now being awake and on the road for, 29 hours?
Yeah, that's a bit.
But that's just this thing. This isn't adding in the 10 hours that I was awake and at work.
Yeah, right.
Before this moment, which I was a delivery driver. So I was on the road driving for those 10 hours as well. So we arrived there at 11, started loading up the van. About 1 a.m, it'd made something to eat and stuff like that. So we're like, having our dinner, everything, mate. And we're like, right, we're going to have to start getting to sleep. He'd said that we could stay there, so we were like, right, perfect, we could get it sorted. What he didn't say is that he actually had nowhere for any of us to sleep.
Oh, no.
So she ended up in the top floor where she was on a couch.
Oh, no.
That was just covered in cat hair. It was just something extra. So she was in there. I was down in the living room on a small 2-seater leather couch.
Oh, no.
Now, we had specifically said we had to drive from Germany, or Hamburg, Germany, all the way up to Stockholm in Sweden, because the next day at 8 a.m. we had to be at the ferry that was taking us from Sweden to Finland.
Oh,
so that was like a 12-hour ferry. So we'd specifically said we were going to have to be up and out the door for about 6, 7 a.m. so that we could get the trip up without having to rush. So we finally, he wanted to sit and chat and all this kind of stuff. And we were like, no, we need to go to bed. So we finally got to bed at about 2:30, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, we're just going to have the 4-hour sleep. And that was it. And we would just time it up. So I was down the stairs and thing me, and I was like, right, that's fine. I fell asleep at 5 a.m. What can only be known as a fucking air raid siren started going off in his living room where I was.
Oh, no.
So 5 a.m. I was up, just like, well, I'm bright-eyed because what the fuck, am I being attacked? Are the Germans coming? So the next thing I know is he comes down the stair and he switches off and he's, oh, sorry, that's just my alarm. I forgot to turn it off. And you're like, why the fuck is it down here?
You got a fucking air raid for your alarm, bro? Damn.
Like, fucking else, everybody else just has a fucking alarm clock. Like, who the fuck is this? So he goes away back upstairs, and then about 5:30, 5:45, I finally doze back off. And then at 6:30, air raid goes off again. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm kind of awake, and then about 7 in the morning, she ends up coming down the stairs, and she's like, I couldn't sleep. And I was like, you don't know the fucking half yet. I think I got about 45 minutes sleep here. So we're like, right, we need to get up. We'll just get up and time it. And he was adamant he was going to make us breakfast. And we're like, look, we don't really have time for breakfast. We need to. He's like, no, I've just got some rolls and stuff like that. Just you can grab and then go. It's like, so we're like, we don't want to really be rude, even though this is being rude.
Right.
So we kind of sit down, and he comes in and he gives us the rolls, and then he's away for like 15 minutes.
You're like, what?
So we wander in, and he's there, and he's boiling eggs, and he's making coffee, and we're like, no, we need to go. Like, we need to fucking move. So it ended up 8 a.m. We're running out his house. She's got boiled eggs just in her bag. I've got rolls and 2 cups of coffee as we're bundling into the van to then start our drive all the way up.
Oh, god damn.
And it's that kind of way, we get into the van and we're driving, we go into the motor, sitting and we're like, what the fuck was that? What just happened? What did we just witness? So we drive all the way up. We ended up stopping in Copenhagen and we got lunch and stuff. And then we continued up. We got to the hotel in Stockholm at 3 a.m. Just straight drive all the way up. And this is still, I've technically had 45 minutes sleep since Sunday morning. This is now Tuesday, going on to Wednesday. So we get there at 3 a.m. and it's like an old hotel that's been turned into a hotel, or an old hospital that's been turned into a hotel. I was fucking terrified because I'm sitting there going, it's haunted. It must be haunted.
It's
like,
gotta be.
Of all the people that died in here, it's haunted. We're in a hotel that used to be a hospital in Sweden. So we get into bed and stuff like that, and straight away we know we need to be up at 6 because we've got an hour drive to get to the ferry port. So jump in the van at 6 a.m. And drive up to the ferry, and we're like, we kind of decided that because we were only going, we were like, we'll only have the 3 hours sleep because we know we'll get a sleep on the ferry because it's 12 hours. Perfect.
Yeah.
But what we didn't know is that when we got to the ferry, the day ferries don't open the cabins for you to rent.
Oh, yeah.
So we were having to stay in like the main area where everybody was. So there was place that you could chill and get a sleep. So for a further 12 hours of this ferry, we were literally just having to be awake. We tried watching some like programs and stuff like that on the computers, and then we ended up finding solace we found a foosball table.
Right.
And we genuinely spent 6-7 hours just playing foosball at each other constantly. And we did get some like vlogging and stuff like that, and there's like just moments that are hilarious, just moments where I was getting my ass kicked and stuff like that, and she was such a good foosball player. And then we finally get to Finland, and we're like, right, I've booked the hotel in Helsinki, and I've got one that had a spa and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yes.
Go down, get into the hot tub, have a steam, just chill out. So we finally arrive in Helsinki at about 9:15 at night.
Mm-hmm.
And we go in and look at, right, we're just going to go up, put our stuff in. Where's the spa room and all that? Oh, no, the spa room shut at 9 p.m.
Oh, kiss my ass.
And that was us. And then we were like, right, well, what we'll do is we'll just get something to eat, and then we can chill in the room and find me. Oh, no, the restaurant stopped serving at 9 as well.
Oh, that's some bullshit right there.
But like, that was the reason why I booked this hotel.
Right.
Was because we wanted the spa and all that. So that was us just had to go back up to the room and just watch something on the telly and then fell asleep. And then we had to get back up the next morning to continue the drive because the race that we were going to was literally on the border with Finland and Russia.
Okay.
So we still had like another 3-hour drive out. And then when we got there, we then had to set up the equipment, set up the awning, get the bike ready and stuff like that to then start the race weekend on the Friday. So it was literally 4 days of travelling. The funniest thing about it was during that weekend, that's where we started meeting the Finnish people that love their vodka and love just having a good time.
Right.
The parties were just fucking stunning. Just getting drunk, getting a thing. But it was coming back. We decided, because we'd had such a long getting there, because the race weekend was like, you get there the Thursday, Friday you have like your practicing and stuff like that. Saturday's all the qualifiers, and you have 1 or 2 races, then Sunday's race day.
Right.
So you have to be on your ball all weekend because you're riding 1000cc bikes. So you're on your point, concentrating all the way through. So we decided, the mechanic and that were flying back. We were going to drive back again. We were going to have a night in Gothenburg in Sweden. Like that, we'll book a hotel. We'll then just go out and we'll enjoy ourselves for that night. So this is where the story gets interesting. Because we get onto the ferry. and it's a nighttime ferry, so we're like, we'll get a sleep. So we managed to get a couple of an hours sleep on the ferry, back up, drive across country, Sweden to Gothenburg, get there at about 3 o'clock, find the hotel, get everything in. The hotel is basically like an up and downstairs house that we rented. It's absolutely stunning.
Like an Airbnb before Airbnb?
Yeah, pretty much, but it's an actual hotel place.
Oh,
They just have like 40 of these apartments.
Oh, nice.
You can rent out kind of thing, but they rent them out at, I think it was like €100 for the night. So
what?
It's not that bad.
What?
So, but what we'd decided was there was an Italian band that do psychedelic rock.
Oh, right? Lord, so that's trouble.
What we decided is, obviously, because we'd came from Holland, we'd got a couple of the... you got... So we... in the room, and we're thinking, and we're like, right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to smoke this, then we're going to go to the psychedelic rock concert.
No!
Right? No, we decided we'll walk there because it said that it was like a 5-minute walk. It was like, I think it was like 3 miles. We're like, it's like a 5-10 minute walk.
Yeah,
and
right.
We're thinking like that. So we're starting to hit that, and we're like, I'm not, like, does they feel as if we must have got a dud one, it's not really thing me. And out the blue, I think I can see a moose watching us out the window. So that's when we started hitting, well, maybe it is working, maybe it's fine.
Right.
So we're like, we'll start walking to the venue. 45 minutes it take, because it was not a 3 mile straight shot. You had to go up and run and all that. So we finally make it to the venue, and we're like, we're not feeling the smoke and all that. It's kind of sad. Like,
such a big baby.
We'd expected so much. We get to the venue. Music, it's an amazing show. Everybody's friendly. It's a wee small. I think there was 20 people there. It was a nice show, pretty much.
Just an intimate show.
Yeah. And then after the gig, we were sitting talking. We were making up wee jokes with the thing, because like, you were people watching, and you're watching the band, and it's like there was like 3 males and a female singer kind of thing. But you were watching them, and you're like the 2 males were kind of sitting beside the female, and the female was like talking to one, but while she was talking to one, the other guy was looking all sad and angry and that. And you're like, oh, they've had a wee thing, and he likes her, but he also likes her, and they're fighting there, there's all of this, and we're making up stories about the band kind of thing.
Right.
And then we decided that, look, nothing's happening with us. We might as well just start heading up the road. We're no feeling it. It's no hitters and all that. So we ended up stopping off at a shop to get something to eat. And then it was once we had left the store when it all hit us that we were definitely high. Because I was walking down the street with an open container of hummus, a flat bread, and ham. And I was like, I'd put the ham in my pocket, just straight ham in my pocket, and I was taking out slices, putting it on the flat bread, and dipping it in and eating as I go.
Ain't no wrong with that.
She was using her credit card to eat her ice cream that she had bought. And it went until we got about 20 minutes down that journey where we went and looked at each other and thought, we've definitely been hit with this.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
It's just, you're just, as we're walking down with all the lights and that. And then we got back to the hotel, and we decided, this was about midnight, 1 a.m, and we decided we'd have to get up at 9 so that we could go on the road, because even though we didn't have to be there at a certain time, we were just wanting to have one final drive. So we're like, we'll just sleep for players. It was the single greatest bed and pillow combination I have ever been in a hotel. The bed was the greatest fucking thing in existence, to the point where I still crave going back just to sleep. See, just for one night good sleep.
Yeah, right.
I want to go back. I'll happily go and spend £400, £500, £600 just to go and get a sleep. And it got to the point where 9 a.m. came. I didn't even wake up. I didn't even know. But she had said she woke up, looked and seen that I was just out of it, and went, nah, fuck it, we'll sleep an extra hour.
Right.
I woke up at 10, looked at her and went, nah, she's enjoying her sleep. We'll just sleep another hour. So it was like, I think it was like 25 past 11 where we both kind of woke up and went, that was fucking... And it was that kind of where you're sitting there and you're like, that was fucking amazing. That was the best night ever. And you're sitting, you're like, we're talking about a sleep. We literally had a sleep. Best night ever. And then that's when it dawned on us that you had to be out your apartment at 11:30.
Oh, no!
So it was a case of just grabbing everything, flinging everything away, bundling it into the van, away to check out, and then go on the road.
Yeah.
And then it was just a straight shot, Gothenburg, straight through it back to Holland. We got back to Holland maybe the Tuesday night, and this is where people are like, I thought, well, it was a good thing. But the problem that I had was we arrived back, I think it was 9 p.m. on the Wednesday. That was when we arrived back at Rotterdam. I then had a flight at 8 a.m. on the Thursday.
Whoa.
To get back to Glasgow. The flight got me in at about 9:30 because it's like gone back because of the time zones and stuff. So it was about 9 a.m. I got back. My sister picked me up at the airport in Glasgow, drove me back to the house where I picked up or got changed, picked up my van and drove back out to work, where I then worked for another 4 days till the Sunday night. Yeah. Monday morning, I then was on another flight back out to Rotterdam in order to go to the next race weekend.
Right.
That was like the following week. And then once we'd done that race weekend, that finished on the Sunday. It wasn't as far, it was only in Belgium, so it was only like a 6-hour drive. 6 hours back from there, got back to Rotterdam again at about midnight, 1 a.m. I immediately then had to get back in my car, drive back to Glasgow, because at 11 a.m. I then had work on the Monday again.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how it was going for a few months before I kind of just went, this is not working for me. It's just, it's too much. I'm not getting time to myself, because even though we were going to the race weekends, you were having a drink, we were still having to work.
Right.
So it's literally, I was not getting a day off because the time off, I was having to travel. And that was when I ended up deciding to move to Holland and just gone down that path. But
so how long did you spend in Holland, like living there?
It was kind of on and off. It was like I'd spend like 3 months there, and then we came back to Glasgow for kind of like winter for the off season. Then we went back to Holland in like the March, and then it was about June again when I came back. And then that was when, because I came back because I got opportunities for jobs and stuff.
Right.
And it just kind of everything snowballed for there.
Right.
And that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was the only reason. But I'd definitely go back. But
you can't have this.
But that Finland trip it's still just in my head of one of the greatest experiences that ever was. I mean, it's not as much as my Czech experience where I got very, 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 very drunk on this stuff. It is called Slivovice.
Slivovice?
It's a plum liqueur from the Czech Republic. But what it was is Czech Republic have this amazing tradition that, see if I walked up to you and offered you a drink, right? Yeah. Like a shot, whatever I was drinking, I'd pour you a shot, but I would also have to take a shot.
Yeah.
So we would take a shot. But if then I went to like B and said, oh, have a drink, pour B a shot, I would then have to take a drink with B. So whoever's doing the pouring is literally taking a shot for every person that they're offering a drink to. That means that you've only had one shot, like your party's only had one shot, but the pourers had 9.
Yeah, kind of like that story I talked about at that convention in 2000, where we got to know the bartenders, and that the night the whole crew showed up, I was getting drinks, drink with the crew, drink with the bartenders, man. Yeah, same. Yeah. I can relate. Well, I can relate.
that their kind of tradition goes. But what we didn't notice is I was drinking this liqueur, and you did not feel it. It did not make you drunk. So I literally, it got to about 10 o'clock in the evening. We'd went round for a barbecue and that kind of stuff with the Czech fans for the races. And we were just having a great wee time. Her, the mechanic, and her mum and dad were basically like, right, we're going to have to start heading. I was well, I'm still enjoying these drinks. So I then discovered that I'd had about 16 of these shots. Still not feeling anything. I was just completely convinced it was just a plum water.
Right.
Because there was no drunken effect.
Yeah.
And then I made one vital mistake. I drank something else. I literally had a can of Carling. Like the shittiest fucking beer you could. See, as soon as it hit your system, blackout.
I fucking
do not
feel
remember anything of that night. All I remember is being told that I staggered in with 3 random Czechs, like 3 random people that we'd never met, into the camper van that we were sleeping in, got put into bed and slept. And it turned out that we'd ended up, everybody else had left to go back because we had races, and I decided to stay an extra hour because I was enjoying myself.
Right.
I did not stay an extra hour. I ended up with 2 of the guys that we'd been drinking with, going into Prague, which was an hour drive away.
Right.
Going into the clubs, drinking with members of the Czech Mafia.
Oh.
Where I was known as Fishes.
Wait,
that was what they kept on calling me, because I don't know, like, I can only say this is what I was told happened. Like, I don't remember any of this. But apparently, I had this mindset that they're the Czech Mafia. The Czech Mafia must be the same as the Italian Mafia. The
New York
Mafia. So I was like that.
Oh, God,
anybody that walked by us, I was like, we're going to make them sleep with the fishes.
You didn't.
So they kept on, my new nickname was Fishes, because I was demanding that these mafia members make them sleep with them.
Oh my God, you did not.
Well, I can only do what I've been told. But apparently that was the full night, was me just randomly trying to get people murdered by these guys. But they were just having a great time. They, like, to the point where I still have full-blown conversations with them because they want me to go back over and have a drink with them, because it was just a great experience, even though I can't remember fuck all.
Baby, we going to the Czech Republic to party with Chris. We're gonna hang out with some Czech Mafia dudes. We're gonna hang out with Fishes over there.
But that's pretty much how it was going. It was just absolutely insane because when you piss them off.
Dude, you're so wrong, man. You're so wrong.
That was, I mean, I've had plenty other times, because I like, even other times where I've just went to Prague and stuff like that. It's, like, I've had times where we went to Prague just for like a couple of nights to like have a drink with some of the fans and stuff, and then I've ended up in like Germany. I just go on a bus with a couple of people, and we ended up in Germany at another party where we just started having a drink and all that kind of stuff. Because like it isn't until I get home where I'm then going through my phone and I'm getting like I'll send you these off stream because they're not for on streaming.
Yeah, they're not safe.
But it's like there's videos of me and a bunch of these Czech guys pole dancing. There's ones where it's just random people that I've never met just dancing and grinding up against other people and stuff like that. The funniest thing is it's one thing that's made me question whether I wanted to get into streaming, is because everybody always says anything that's on the internet, if you start streaming and you get successful, not it will always come out.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to admit that there is many, many, many pictures of me butt naked on the internet. Where my thing is if I get, like, I don't drink spirits, see, like, clear spirits like vodka and stuff like that. I don't drink that because it makes me blackout drunk.
Yeah, everybody's got theirs.
Like, I'll sit and have full-blown, like, philosophical conversations where you think this guy isn't even drunk, but I am not there.
You're knackered.
That's why I drink the likes of, like, beer and cider and whiskey and stuff like that, because it keeps me level-headed. But, like, I've had moments where, like, I've had vodka and stuff like that, and then my bright idea when I'm blackout drunk is, do you know what we have to do? Get naked and dance.
What's wrong with that? It's a great idea.
Well, it's a great idea when you're fucking steaming, but it isn't a great idea when people are sending you 17 different point of view clips and videos of you grinding up and down against a metal pole to fucking Beyonce.
Well, hey, the pole should consider itself lucky, goddammit. Wow, bro. Yeah, that's fucked up, man. So
yeah, like, it's definitely something.
So what I'm hearing from this is when B and I come over to hang out with you, we're not going to be in Scotland. We're going to end up in fucking Prague with the mob.
It depends if we drink vodka.
In your asses.
And B's over to go, well, she's saving us. She's like, you two can get in all the fucking trouble you want.
Like, I don't even know if I've got my wallet here. I've known my wallet's down the stair. See, literally in my wallet, I have around, I think it's about 600 Czech kron, which is roughly about £150 in Czech money in my wallet. I've got about 150 euros in my wallet. Because when I was in Holland, I would get drunk and end up on a plane. I would end up on a train. I'd end up on a ferry. I'd end up on a bus, a car, a taxi, gone somewhere that I shouldn't have went, waking up and going, how the fuck do I get back? So it got to a point where I now have to have in my wallet money to get home if I'm going out drinking.
Oh, I'm going to love hanging out with you.
Drinking, and I will say, if you and B come to Scotland...
Oh, no, not if, when.
When, and you decide, let's go and have a drink. Oh, Chris, we're going to give you a vodka. Be prepared to wake up not in Scotland.
Oh, dude, I'm so giving you vodka, because the best stories happen with vodka. Dude, I'm going to be like, drink this. You're going to be like, what is it? Just shut up and drink it. The night's about to get live. We're going to get you naked and grind it up against a pole, goddammit.
But the thing is you also have to be at a point where, because you cannot have logic in that time, because if you're not the same level, I will just wander off. Like, if you're at the same level, I'll take you with.
It's happening. It's happening.
I've been out drinking with like Nadine and Stefan and all that kind of stuff, people from Holland, and then they've not been on my level, and I've had vodka, and then I'll wake up and have 40 messages and missed calls and all that because I fucked off. I just wandered away because they weren't watching me. And then that's when I'm waking up and going, I don't know, I'm at a bus station. And then it's the whole big, what bus station is it? And I was like, oh, would you look at that? I'm in Germany.
I can't wait. I can't fucking wait.
I'm 400 miles away from where I started.
I can't fucking wait.
And I blame the travel operators because they should not be allowing somebody in my state to go on a plane. But the problem that there is because as a blackout drunk, I function fully. They don't think that I'm drunk. They just assume that I'm just a normal businessman that just has a lazy eye.
I can't fucking wait. It's gonna be epic. Oh my god. I'm gonna die, but it'll be so worth it. Oh my god.
It's a good way to go. It's a good way to go, I guess.
The whole time B's gonna be like,
I'm still here.
B's gonna be like, what? She's just gonna be following us around with a camera.
Yeah. It's probably better that B does come because if you came yourself, there'd be probably a search party as B trying to get a hold of you. Where are you? You're supposed to be in Scotland. Nah, we're in Russia. We're in some march in the middle of Moscow. Hey!
Yeah, no, it's good, comrade. Good vodka, let's go. Exactly.
Vodka.
Get it. Potatoes and vodka. Bring us the borscht.
So, yeah, like, we'll get messy. I'm not going to lie. Be prepared.
Oh God.
Just be fucking prepared.
Well, that's the thing.
Because
like
my pal here he's hoping and praying that, because I just have these moments where I just go off the rails and just end up getting steaming. He's trying to keep me kind of normal because, like, in some cases, I was using it as a kind of coping mechanism, which isn't how you should do it.
Well, yeah.
But at the same time, he's hoping and praying for the day that I invite him and go, right, we're going to Prague. Pack your fucking bag. We're going.
Get a backpack.
And then we end up in these stupid fucking situations and just end up with the craziest fucking stories. And I mean, I'll keep you away for the random women. Let's be happy.
Well, yeah, I won't be that stupid.
But
she'll kill
me.
me.
I'll take them off you.
That's fine. You can take them off my hands. That's great.
I'll protect you.
You'll protect me. You'll protect me. You'll protect me from the evil women. I got you.
I'll take the sacrifice and strip down naked. Don't you worry.
I'll just film it. I'll be wearing with the camera.
Well, we can do that then, because then it's not prostitution.
Exactly. It's content. It's just for OnlyFans.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just no Twitch content.
Yeah, it's gonna go on the OnlyFans. Dude, and we talked about this. You and I have talked about it, and Bernadette and I have talked about it. We have a plan. Like, hopefully, in the next 5 years or so, when the kids are all grown up and kind of doing their own travels, B and I want to travel. Like, we've been raising kids, and one of the first things we have to do is we have to go over to England and Scotland and Ireland. We got to do that sort of thing because you're there, Monster's there, Sneaky Zulu's there, my buddy Yui's there. Like, a ton of people I know that I'm friends with that are streamers and non-streamers, they're all there. They're like, as soon as you guys can get the fuck over here, come on over here. Now, the plan is 5 years when the kids are old enough and we can go as a couple, but if something happens in the next 5 years where a stream blows up and I got to go do a convention or something, that is what, I'm not going to turn that down. Like, if like a year from now the podcast pops off and we get a call that says, hey, can you guys come do a guest spot in Prague or whatever, I'm going to be like, going to Prague, got to make money. And she's going to be like, don't get in trouble. I'll be like, I won't.
Well, we'll just better not let the sponsors see this episode.
Be off camera goes, I'm not bailing you out.
That's why you keep the money in your wallet.
But yeah, like that. I mean, that like that's the big thing. Like for us, like we've been raising our kids to that when they hit college age, they have to go and find themselves. They got to go figure their shit out and go because mom and dad aren't sticking around. We'll be in town, but we've got shit we got to do. We're young enough and we'll be successful enough where we don't have to stay home. Because I can vlog and stream on a laptop from anywhere in the world as long as I got Wi-Fi. She can do all her shit remotely as well. So we'll have a home base. That's the plan. We'll have a home base, but we're not, and one of the first spots is bucket list, Ireland, Scotland, all that shit. Like, we're gonna go over there. Australia, like, hey, Aussies, I know you're down there. I know you're listening to us. Give a brother a call. We'll come down and party in Australia. Like,
we already have a group of ladies that want to party.
Yep, and B's got a group of ladies that want to party down in Australia. So, like, it's happening. It's just when is the fact. And, like, I mean, if B's not following us around filming our hijinks, she'll definitely be like, don't go to jail. I won't bail you assholes out.
I won't bail you out here. I'm not bailing you out there.
Exactly. She won't bail me out. Oh, my daughter just dropped something on her foot. But yeah, like, that dude, that's fucking stupid hilarious, man. That talking about just...
That's even the missed it. That's literally just 2 stories.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, there's a good few years, even non-abroad stories. Like, a lot of the stories have involved me on my Tinder adventures, which isn't quite TOS kind of thing.
That's for the OnlyFans.
Yeah, where, like, I've called them the wrong name.
Oh, no!
Or I've destroyed things that heirlooms from their grandmothers that have passed away. One I completely just forgot the name of. So there's a lot of stories that
Yeah.
that me being drunk has got myself into, just
Those-
even in Glasgow.
Those are the spicy ones for the Patreon and OnlyFans.
Yeah, we'll keep them private. We'll keep them to Discord, so you'd have to join the Discord if
Exactly.
you want to know how I ended up with a high heel embedded into the side of my skull.
Oh yeah. So I'll tell you, I don't have some globe-trotting adventure where I ended up with the Prague Mafia, but I've had my fair share of insane dumb shit happen to me. And most of it was just hanging out with friends, just getting stupid. Like one time, I told you about. I mentioned it briefly on another podcast. We went to a convention. It's a 4-day convention that was in Milwaukee called Gen Con, and we just the first couple days we got to know the bartenders. The third day, we fucking just ripped it, right? Just VIP'd it. Took over the bar, got fucking blitzed, right? But the second half of that story was the bar closed. And we're fucking blitzed, dude. Just fucking steaming, right? We go head back to the convention, right? I stop down an alley because I got to piss. I whip it out. I start peeing on this building, and my friends are like laughing. All of a sudden, we hear this thing, and my buddy's like, oh shit, it's a security guard. Turns out the building I'm pissing on is the fucking federal building. Right? I'm peeing all over the federal building, so I'm like whipping around, run down the alley with my fucking dick in my hand, trying to finish pissing, shoving it in my pants, right? We managed to dodge the security guard. We get to the convention, and that's when the hijinks ensue, because a bunch of our buddies were working the convention, and they saw that we were fucking dummy drunk. So one of my buddies goes, you need to do this mission. And we're like, what's the mission? He goes, this is the first year the convention was taken over by like a professional convention company, and they kind of took the fun out of a lot of it. So my buddy had made up this flyer that says, does Gen Con suck? I don't know. Ask Andon. Andon was the convention company, right? So he takes the 5 of us drunken morons and hands us a stack of 200 copies of these flyers. And he goes, and we're at the Milwaukee Convention Center. This thing's like 100,000 square feet, 300. Like, this thing is enormous, right? And he literally plays the Mission Impossible theme song on his iPad. So instantly we're like, dun, 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 right? We're into it, right? And he hands us this form and he goes, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is post these flyers anywhere possible, but do not get caught by security. And of course, the 5 of us were like, all right, let's go, gentlemen. Synchronize your watches. This is going down, right? So we take these flyers and we just disperse. Just into the convention center, just disappear, right? Or so we thought. So we start throwing these flyers all over the place. I'm like, my one buddy holds me up and I'm swaying. We got this shit on the ceiling walkway. We got these fuckers in the polka hallway. We walked into one part of the convention where people were sleeping and we're taping these flyers on people's heads. We're in the bathrooms putting these flyers on the underside of the toilet. And at one point, security comes walking by. And we're just fucking dying laughing, right? Just being stupid. We see the security guard, and all of a sudden, all 5 of us freeze, jump against the wall, flatten out against the wall, right? And the security guard walks by, and we all at the same time, we go, we are not ninjas. We are a hedge. You cannot see us. And the fucking security guard just literally looks at us and goes, I don't see shit. And so that validates the fact that we are now invisible.
Oh, fuck.
So we break into the business conference room. And all the restricted areas, posting this shit everywhere. And when the mission was complete, we stagger back to the hotel, congratulating ourselves as we go along, right? Everybody crashes, racks out. I can't make it to a bed or a floor because that's not where I was. I had somehow rigged it up where I was sleeping in a hotel closet.
Okay.
So I climb into the closet, and in the middle of the early morning hours where I had fallen asleep, now for those of you who are listening audibly, I'll try to describe this the best way I can. I started out laying flat on my back, and somehow in the middle of the morning, I had moved from flat on my back, like crab walked up the side of the closet wall to where I'm sleeping on my neck and shoulder vertically, so that when my buddy's girlfriend at the time opens the closet, I fall out like a felled fucking tree with my head and cocked into my shoulder. And she goes, "Are you awake?" And I'm like, "No, I think I'm dead." And then we go back to the convention, right? And our buddy who gave us the mission looks at us and goes, "Were you successful?" And we look at each other and go, "Huh?" And then he tells us the story. So now we're on the hunt to find these flyers. I shit you not. Not a single fucking flyer was to be found anywhere. From the time we left the convention center at like 4 a.m. to the time we got back at like 9 or 10, none. Gone. No evidence, no nothing. And the whole day, security's just looking at us, giving us the skeptical hippo eyes. And we're like, why the fuck are they mean mugging us? Oh my god, that was so goddamn stupidly funny. Oh, and the whole time, like at night when we're doing these flyers, there was a Vampire the Masquerade live action role playing game going on. So you have to like do gestures to like trigger your powers and stuff. One of the vampire players was what they call obfuscated. So he had his hands across his chest, which means he can't talk or interact with the world, otherwise he becomes visible. We literally opened the door, waited till he got right to the door, and then closed it. So he couldn't get in the door. And then we told everybody to go to a different door. So this poor LARP role player is standing outside for God knows how long, just like, fuck. Oh my god, I've never been that drunk. Never been that drunk than I was that weekend, because that weekend I literally spent more at the bar than I spent on the hotel, the convention, and food combined.
Yeah, that's kind of like Prague in the sense of when we were in Prague for we were actually at a place called Hericha, which is like an hour and a half drive from Prague.
Right.
When we were there, they had like a Lidl, which is like I kind of like, I would say it's kind of like your Target.
Okay.
It's kind of like a store that has everything.
Target.
Yeah, Target. But we went in there and we bought a week worth of food, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 people, and it came to £22.
What? What were you buying?
That's how cheap the Czech Republic is.
Holy shit!
You can go into the Czech, like into their normal supermarkets, and they have is that Stropoban or something like that. It's like their It's their type of beer. 12 pence for a bottle.
Get the fuck out of here, really?
No. Yeah, it's like £1 for a pint in a pub. It's like $1.25 for a whiskey sour.
Damn.
It's unreal. Like, you did literally spend more money on drink than food.
That's
but
kind of
like
insane.
you get this is like actual food. This isn't even just talking about like this is like your Doritos are like 10 pence.
Right.
Like it's absolutely unreal. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of stories, and I know there's a lot of stories for you that I still have to hear.
Oh God, you'll hear them all. We'll get there eventually.
Make.
Yeah, right. But yeah, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. We got to get through some stuff, so we'll do some more story time. We'll definitely work some in there because I got a couple stories of when I was a bodyguard for metal bands that they just got to be shared with the world, like ridiculously.
We'll definitely pick a nice episode at some point to get a wee bit more story time.
Maybe at episode 12. Every 6 episodes we'll have story time.
Yeah, that works.
All right, so we're going to jump into game releases, kind of blitz through those, and then we'll jump into the happy ending. And then after that, we'll wrap up, kind of do our thing. I will edit the podcast and jump into an RPG I got, then hopefully crawl my ass into bed, get some snuggles, and wake up and not die tomorrow with my 17-hour shift. So, game releases, brother, what's caught your interest? What's coming up? I know you put 2, I put 2. Let's kind of go through them.
Yeah, the first one I put up was a game called Evil Inside. It comes out on the 7th of May 2021. It's available on PlayStation 5 and 4, PC, Switch, and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it is it's a horror game. Now, it's more the story that I'm more interested in than the thing, because it does tend to look just like your normal horror movie where you get a camera, you're having to go through a house, it's dark, you're hearing noises, jump scares and stuff like that. But basically, the kind of story that it is it's that you play like a teenager that's family seems to have like been like the mother's been dead and the father's been arrested for it.
Oh, okay.
And you're a teenager that uses basically a Ouija board. They call it a spiritual board, but it's a Ouija board. And during your whole thing of trying to get the things, the Ouija board basically gets destroyed. Mm-hmm. But because it gets destroyed, it's left the door open.
Oh no!
So there's all these paranormal. Oh, sorry.
Dude, I got a Ouija board story for you.
Well, so it's like you're then having it says that the object is to gather the fragments of the spiritual board found around the house to be able to contact Rose, her mother, and discover the truth. So basically, you're trying to speak to your mum to find out, did your dad do it and stuff like that. But I put a video in the document of the trailer that comes, so you should. I'll leave a link in the description for the trailer to actually watch. It just looks absolutely fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it does. It looks god-awfully terrifying.
Yeah, it just seems to be a kind of combination of all the best sort of horror games in that kind of genre, like your Outlast, your Phasmophobia, and stuff like that. So it's definitely really excited for this one. It's just annoying that I have to wait that wee bit longer to actually get to enjoy it because it's May. That's a while away.
Yeah, it definitely looks it looks ridiculously terrifying. And I'm not big on scary games. I don't like being scared because I have a very violent reaction to being scared. But when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh god, Bernadette's gonna want me to play that on Halloween.
And it will have to happen. That's it.
It's going to. Unfortunately, I got a feeling everybody's going to be like, Halloween, bitch, let's go.
Not even Halloween, just any dark time.
Right? It looks good. I'm definitely interested, for sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those rare... It seems like it has the potential to be one of those rare genre-defining sort of titles, if they do it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that says wait to see if it's done right. If it is done right, it'll be a cracking game. If not, then it'll just fall away like all the other kind of horror movies, games that have came with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The next one, though, is definite. This one, I don't know if you got a time to kind of to view it and stuff like that.
I know this one.
This one, I only recently seen it. and it's one of those ones that I am so wanting to play.
Yes.
Not even just on the thing. See, just getting a group of people to do the different teams. Basically, it's called Hood Outlaws and Legends. It's available on PlayStation, PC, Xbox, the whole shebang kind of thing. Basically, it's the point of it is there's a kind of NPC computer style that are defending a treasure.
PvE.
That your team of like 4 people, or it's 4 or 5.
I think it's a 4 or 5 man squad.
It's like different characters, like a huntress and stuff like that, with different abilities. You have to go in a heist like medieval context to take out the guards that are defending this treasure and steal the treasure back, because it's like an overlord that's stolen the treasure and this coin and all that from the people, and you have to go and get it back. But what is the added sort of amazing part of it is that in doing so, there is another team that are also trying to steal the treasure. So the point is you're now having to defeat the guards in that to get the treasure, but you also have to outsmart and outmaneuver another team of players that are trying to do the same thing. I can't remember if it's another team or if there's like multiple teams. I don't know if there's like 2 other teams or if it's just the one, but I know there's definitely one team that you have to kind of defeat. But what the immediate thing that I thought is getting a community, splitting yourself into like the 2 or 3 teams, having your own voice channels, and just trying to beat the other ones.
Yeah,
that's where I see it as. That would be phenomenal. And the game style of the game looks amazing. The graphics looks amazing. Everything about it just screams this can be something. Again, like you said, if it's done right, it'll be a phenomenal game. And I really hope that it's got to be. This one also comes out the 7th of May. So it's another one that comes out on. I've seen it on the PlayStation. That's what I'm looking into. But yeah, like there's different maps. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different maps that you can work on. So I think it's definitely going to be an online game, like the likes of like having that kind of Apex thing where it's like different maps and whatnot. But yeah, it just everything looks stunning.
Yeah,
I genuinely cannot actually wait.
Hood's been on my radar for a while since it was announced. It has for those of you that are listening on Spotify or any of the major podcast platforms, dun dun dun, major plug. The stylization of sort of that gritty kind of like fantasy medieval, like just like
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed meets Lord of the Rings sort of stylization. It looks amazing. And the fact that it's PvE, PvP, so not only are you competing against the world to reclaim the treasure, and it's a heist of epic proportions. The fact that there's another team, and I don't remember, like, the website isn't really clear if it's one team or multiple teams.
Oh, no, I just looked at there. It's one other team. It's I think they say it is... make your escape. It's decided thing. You must outwit the guards and outplay the players in a deadly 3-way.
Okay. Yeah, it looks amazing in concept. Like the story, I don't know if there's going to be any world building or story, but the fact that you have a heist in a medieval fantasy style setting, uniquely done characters with interesting abilities. Because I looked through it. It's been on my radar for a while. Everybody looks to have their own playstyle, and the asymmetric nature of it just, oh god, it looks so good. I'm really hoping that, like, it gave me like For Honor vibes, to be honest with you, because of the way that combat was and whatnot. Because For Honor has a capture the flag and a siege the castle mode. So I kind of saw For Honor in the way they stylized everything and the way they do the combat, but like, it's, oh man, there's something about it that I can't put my finger on. but every time I see it or read about it, I get excited for it.
Yeah.
And now with the new computer, I can totally play it. And it looks ridiculously fun. I just hope it's...
The one thing I want to find out is cross-platform.
I was just about to say that. I really hope they do cross-platform.
Yeah, because if they don't, then I'm kind of fucked for the whole let's do a community kind of thing.
Yeah, because I don't got a PS5.
Yeah, like my computer will not run it at all. My computer doesn't run. My computer doesn't even let me stream. So
just wait for that podcast money to roll in, buddy. We'll get stickers. But yeah, Hood looks good. From everything I've seen, it looks good. It's got a unique concept. It's not a unique concept. It's a unique spin on an old concept.
Yeah.
And
I liked your kind of analogy that they've taken kind of different aspects and stuff like that. The one kind of thing that did kind of me into, and it's probably just me it's made this kind of correlation, is it sort of puts me in mind of D&D. See that kind of the fact that you have different characters with different, like you've got like your warrior, you've got your hunter, you've got things like that, and it just kept on giving me that kind of Critical Role Campaign 2 vibe.
Yeah, it's got that D&D realized kind of vibe to it. Yeah. Didn't mean to cut you off, but I agree 100%. It's like actualized like a D&D adventure done in like video game form. Facts, 100%.
Exactly. That's how I've seen it.
It looks really good. Like I'm really hopeful for it. And now, thanks to the community helping put the computer together, I can do a game like that if there's interest, and it can be a community event for those that actually have the game. So
yeah,
it looks good. I was really glad to see it because I was actually thinking about that game this week, and when you put it on there, I was like, oh, thank God, I get to talk about it. So yeah, it's dope. One of the first game I got on the list is Oddworld Soulstorm. Now, have you ever played any of the Oddworld games or know of the Oddworld?
Sure, I do know of it. I'm pretty sure I played a good, like, I'm talking a while. See, when it first started coming out.
It's a legacy franchise for sure.
Yeah, like, I can't remember when it originally came out, but I do remember I'm talking like PlayStation 1 time.
Abe's
like
Odyssey.
90s. Yeah, exactly. That's where I see it. That's what I've played. Or
well,
I didn't actually play it. I watched my brother play it.
Yeah, and this is the continuation of Abe's story. The whole lore of Oddworld expands in Soulstorm. You're Abe, and you're trying to basically continue the struggle of freeing the odds. And it's new gameplay mechanics, a new world, new lore, new prison. It looks so good. Like, if you have any familiarity, like for a listener or a viewer, if you played any of the Oddworld games, Oddworld had this blend of platforming, puzzle solving, and third-person action that sort of redefined the genre in the early game of games. Like, it didn't redefine it. It kind of defined it because it came out so long ago. And the fact that Soulstorm's releasing multi-platform, and just the music and the art it looks like it's going to be a return to form for Oddworld. And it's one of those franchises that if you never played the Oddworld franchise, you really need to experience it, because the storytelling and the world building are phenomenal, and their case studies on how to make a protagonist get you in the feels. Abe is such a protagonist where you're like, come on, Abe, you can do it. And Abe isn't special. He's just a grunt who got fed up and was like, fuck this shit. I'm going to take my people out. And it looks like they're going to just continue that story. And I'm so excited to see it. Soulstorm looks so good. It's been on my radar since it was announced at E3. I was like, dude. So it's good to see Oddworld be done justice and come back. And I can't wait. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah. When does it come out and stuff like that?
I believe that one's in March, because I don't look too far ahead. I think April. Actually, Oddworld's in April. I think it's the mid to end of April. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then the last one I put on the list is Ratchet and Clank, baby. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Oh, I have so many memories of playing Ratchet and Clank going commando, Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. oh, right, like just play Ratchet and Clank. Like, do yourself a favor, go back and get the Ratchet and Clank series and play it. The humor, the gameplay, the wacky weapons, the funny storylines of what's the guy's name? Captain Universe or whatever. He's such an idiot character, and just the villains in that series are so good. The story of Ratchet and his robot buddy Clank, they're back in action now, and now you get a rift mechanic, multi-dimensional world hopping. Oh boy. I could gush about Ratchet and Clank and not say a damn thing. I could just be like, I love it. But the gameplay, the platforming, the customization, the wacky weapons, the story, again, just an amazing series, amazing franchise. And unfortunately, it's only PS5 right now. Like, it's exclusive PS5. And it releases, I think the furthest I went was May or June. But like, as soon as it get released on PC, you bet your ass I'm picking that game up, because Ratchet and Clank they're so phenomenal. I played it with my son when he was little. I replayed it with my daughter when she was little. She would sit in my lap when I was playing it. I love Ratchet and Clank, and oh god, I can't wait to see the next chapter in Ratchet and Clank's story. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, so it's one of those games, again, it's one that I never really played. Like, I've seen other people play it and stuff like that, but again, I was never really a major gamer. I played just the same games. I played like my wrestling games, my FIFA and stuff like that. That was my gaming kind of thing. It's only been recently in the last few years where I've started branding out. But it was one thing that I did see, because my friend he's brought it up a few times that he loved the Ratchet and Clank series. And it's one thing that I have noticed, and I thought it was weird that they made it like PlayStation bought the rights. It's an exclusive kind of thing. I would love to see the likes of PC and that getting the chance of it. Like, but obviously everything that I've read is that PlayStation bought the complete rights. PC, Xbox, and that will not get to use it.
They didn't buy the rights. They bought the game company that designs it. And Insomniac Games is a Sony owned game development studio now.
Right.
Okay. So that's why Sony has it as an exclusive. Is Insomniac is an in-house developer for them now.
Right, okay. So, but even at that, I still hope that it's able to kind of brand out, because, like, I know gaming platforms need to have the things that make it, because it's all about, they want to have money in that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. They want to make it a competition. But it's just such a... I have this about the kind of like the TV and stuff like that. Like, it came out earlier this week, I think, that Amazon have bought or paid 110 billion over like 10 years for the NFL football.
What?
And the way it works out, I don't know if you'd seen it or anything.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it got announced, I think, yesterday. I was about it, that Amazon have paid 110 billion over 10 years for the rights for the NFL. But the way it's getting out is because CBS have it, NBC have it, and ABC have it.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it's getting worked is Amazon are getting Thursday night football, CBS are showing the Monday night football, the ABC are showing the AFL football, and NBC are showing the the NFC football. That's the way it's going. And it was like, well, that's all well and good. They've paid that money, but it now means that people that want to watch, like especially in America, that want to watch the NFL, they'll need to have a subscription to Amazon. They'll need to have a
right.
to ABC, NBC, and CBS in order to watch the football. So it's going to cost you upwards of $160 a month just to follow your team.
Well, wait, what?
If I just ruined your night.
No. I'm listening, and I'm looking at your. Yeah, it says a deal worth $10 billion annually and $110 billion over the course of the agreement. One of the biggest announcements, Amazon Prime Video will now be the new exclusive home to Thursday Night Football beginning in 2023. So you'll have to have an Amazon Prime account in order to watch all Thursday night football.
Yeah.
Wow, that's holy shit.
And that's how you know Amazon are meaning business, because Amazon have also bought the rights to many games of the English Premier League.
Yeah.
Because even now, they've been showing a lot of this season's games.
Yeah, I saw that.
They trialed it last season and now they're showing a lot. Like, it's not exclusive. They've only got like 1 or 2 games that they're showing exclusive.
Right.
But the rest is just, they're also showing it for free on Amazon.
Yeah, they're broadcasting them, yeah, for sure.
It's looking as if they're going, but you have to think the crazy thing about it is, yous have been, the NFL, they've paid $10 billion a year for the NFL. The English Premier League have a $1 billion a year contract for their TV rights with like Sky Sports.
Right.
So Amazon have literally paid 10 times the amount that Sky Sports paid for the and the funniest thing about it, Sky Sports also have the exclusive rights to the NFL for the UK.
Yeah,
so
I know that.
See all the games. Like, we literally have the channel that they have, like the Sky that comes on through the night and that, but we also have a program that's called the NFL Red Zone on Sky Sports.
Yeah, we have to pay for that.
We get it for free, or if you have a Sky Sports subscription, which is like your cable, you need to have a cable subscription to watch it.
Yeah,
but
Red Zone is
like, it's the around the grounds kind of thing. But it's getting to a point where you're like, in order to follow your team or to play a game or something like that, you're like, you need to have a PlayStation, a PC, and an Xbox. You need to have like your NBC, your ABC, your CBS, your Amazon, all just to follow your football team.
Yeah, it's kind of insane
on TV, and all of those, like, you're even thinking it's like the exclusive rights that Netflix sometimes get, then the exclusive rights to Amazon Prime, the exclusive rights of Disney Plus. You're like, I'm £50 a month just for the different programming.
When you were trying to save money from cable, yeah.
So it's like, what like, yeah, these companies are sitting till they've really got, it's a big money move to get the rights, and you can't. But they'll make that back, because the people that want to watch it are now going to have to pull out their pocket to pay for that.
Yeah.
And that's why I hope that the Ratchet and Clank, because like you said, Ratchet and Clank is a gaming
legacy.
Yeah, that everybody should at least have seen or played or known.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're wanting to make it an exclusive thing that anybody that doesn't have PlayStation 5, go for yourself.
Yeah, but hopefully there's hope. Like, I think it just recently that the Spider-Man game that was PS5 exclusive release for PC. Yeah. So I'm hoping they do the same thing with Ratchet and Clank. Wait a year, 6 months, put it out on PC, and then I'll play that shit in my downtime. Because by the time I get it, like, everybody will have streamed it, so I don't have the pressure to stream it. I'll just get to play it for fun on the side when I'm not streaming. So.
Yeah. No, that's the best way.
That's good, man. That's good. Let us move on to the happy endings. Why don't you take the lead at happy endings this week, brother?
Yeah, well, my one was a bit of a last ditch, because it wasn't until I'd looked on the document as I staggered up the stairs from my day of drinking that I went, fuck, I've no picked a positive story. So I scoured the internet in 5 minutes to find one, and then I found one that actually hit kind of home.
Okay.
In a way. And what it is there's a psychedelic that's used in shamanic rituals, and what they're going to do is they're going to trial it.
Ayahuasca.
As a treatment for depression.
Mm-hmm.
They said participants in the UK-based trial will be given DMT, the active ingredient in ayahuasca. A traditional Amazonian plant medicine that is used to bring spiritual enlightenment. Participants will receive talking therapy. Small Pharma, the company running the trial, believes that DMT, also known as the spirit molecule, could offer a cure for the millions of people who don't respond to existing treatments for depression. This is almost groundbreaking is the fact that these, like, because it is, like, that's what it's saying, psychedelics are a Class A drug, but their potential for treating depression and other mental health conditions is becoming harder to ignore. It's like the whole thing with
reefer madness.
Yeah, like it has so many other uses that it shouldn't be an illegal drug.
No,
I just like just let it be. Again, it's the context and what you use it for that should be a thing. Well, you're sitting there, you're like, no, you can't smoke marijuana, but here's a bottle of vodka.
Yeah, right?
Caffeine that can completely cripple and ruin your life, but don't you take that marijuana.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That, so the fact that they're looking at psychedelics and they're seeing that, like, I'm hoping that they're going to look at other drugs and kind of go, well, I know the likes of like methadone and heroin and that kind of stuff is like life-ruining drugs. Like, there's not a good outcome of that.
Yeah,
like, there's no
and methadone is the alternative to heroin, and it's just as bad.
Yeah, like, there's no benefit to that. But the drugs that show benefit, that they don't necessarily have a bad, like, effect. Like, it's not as if it's a health problem.
Right.
But the fact that they're actually starting to look into these things and go, well, let's think outside the box. Let's see if we can help anybody that's in need with these kind of things, because it's crazy, because they grow like their nature. Why would you not use them? Again, it's society going fucking crazy with these rules and regulations that your Thymans at, because like everything's about money. But let's just go and get fucking high. You probably find that if everybody went door to door and went, here's a joint, enjoy yourself, fucking, you'd probably find most people just fucking mellow out, and you'd be a wee bit more inclined to go, do you know what, shit isn't as bad as it is. Like, because like the daytime, somebody was talked about as a lot of my depression was caused by the fact my mother had passed away and my friend had committed suicide.
Right.
When I had that glimpse into the afterlife, I thought, well, they're okay. I know they're fine. I know what's there. And you're like, well, that is the thing. It's not necessarily like something that you should shy away from. It's just, let's just fucking try it. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, worst case scenario, it doesn't help. That's it. That is the worst case scenario, that it does fuck all for what they're looking at. But fuck it, let's go for it. I mean, I'd take it.
Yeah.
I'd take it just to see what happens.
And here's the thing with psychedelics and DMT specifically. One, let's clear this out for the lawyers. I see them staring. Chris and I are not advocating illegal drug use in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Yeah. We're not saying if it's illegal, go out and fucking break the law, do what you do. If you're underage, do it and fucking do it. It's not what we're saying here. What we're saying is, and I'm going to get a little cynical on this, but I'm going to try and keep it positive, so bear with me. We've known that ayahuasca and psilocybin and like LSD has positive mental health effects on people who suffer PTSD, shell shock, severe depression, bipolar disorder, mood disorder, what they call, identity disorder. Like, we've known that shit for like 30 fucking years. We know it. But Big Pharma and politics were like, well, we can't let them go out in the woods and pick some mushrooms and feel better about themselves. No. We gotta sell them a synthetic alternative at a jacked up price rate with fucking symptoms, the side effects that are worse than the symptoms you're suffering, and we'll make billions of dollars on it. When the native peoples have been treating this shit with native medicines and the proper procedures on how to administer it and what doses to do it in for fucking eons.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that pisses me off so much is we have lost and forgotten and willfully ignored the knowledge of our ancestors for generations because of corporate controlled profit hunting and greedy motherfuckers who want to see people suffer because they treat the symptoms and don't develop a fucking cure. Cancer, depression, PTSD, AIDS, fucking Ebola, hantavirus. We have answers to all this shit sitting in a vault somewhere because some fat motherfucker in a suit and tie wants to make another $1 billion.
Yeah.
Granted, here's where I make it positive. The science and the public knowledge have now gotten to a saturation point where corporate fat cats can no longer say, well, you can't have that.
Yeah.
It's bad for you. When now the knowledge and the science is out there saying, no, homeboy, your shit's bad. This shit that we've had already is the shit we should have been doing. And now we're not going to stand for your corporate profiteering anymore. So I'm so glad we are reaching this saturation point where public acceptance for natural medicines, not homeopathic, that's the wrong word, but like natural medicines that have been used for eons by native peoples is finally getting, and not, let me clarify, not every natural medicine that a native people has used actually does shit. Not all of them are great. They're not cure-alls like they're marketed all the time. But a lot of these natural remedies that native peoples have been using, like the Native Americans, the Mongolian tribe, like any native people who had to live off the land, know that this shit works. And it's us in quote unquote civilized society who are like, they don't know shit. But the guy is at Pfizer and Bayer, they know their shit. No, they don't. They know money. And the article talks about how, like, psilocybin is now being added to the trial, not just ayahuasca. Here's the thing. I used to be very negative on marijuana and psychedelics. Very negative. I went through the DARE program. I was hardline, drugs are bad. And a lot of drugs are bad, especially in the way they're taken or used. But as I've gotten older and I've done the research and I've looked through it, I am very much a proponent of medicinal and functional marijuana. I am also a proponent of DMT and psilocybin to treat things like severe depression and PTSD because the side effects of ayahuasca are nothing compared to the side effects of the shit they put in a pill form. And if it can be administered and regulated and grown properly, that shit, anybody who suffers major mental health traumas, major stuff like that, if you're a good candidate, you should have access to it and you should do it.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
It better be, you need it, you better go about it the right way, and it better be handled properly. Because a lot of times you can go over the edge and have it can go the bad way. So you want to set yourself up for the best positive outcome, especially when dealing with psychedelics, because DMT is the molecule or the... Now, people in the comments will get at me for this if I'm wrong. DMT is one of the chemical compounds that is released into your brain while you're dying. It's one of those that is released into your brain while you're dying, so that what word do I want to use? The transition from living to not living is not. It's not like, yes, if you die traumatically, you're going to experience trauma and fear, but there's a point in that situation where DMT kicks in and a couple other chemicals where all the good things in your life flash before your eyes and you have some sense of peace. So that's why DMT is called the spirit molecule, amongst other reasons. It elevates your consciousness to another level. And I've talked to people who had DMT trips. An ayahuasca trip is like 15 minutes long. It's transcendent. And you move on for your day. You fucking take a shot of heroin, you're fucking done.
Yeah.
And DMT... Go ahead.
I agree with some of your points in that there's certain drugs and stuff like that really shouldn't be, the likes of like methadone and stuff like that. The only part that I
Suboxone.
don't agree with is that the whole medicinal thing.
Right.
I'm a firm believer of my body, I can do the fuck I want. I shouldn't have a government fat cat telling me what I can and can't put into my body. That's the way I see it. I know it's not the same as everybody, and some people will be against it and that kind of stuff. I'm more of a thing, mate, of you don't think drugs should be used around unless you need it in the medicinal. That's fine. As far as I'm concerned, if you don't want to put drugs into your body unless you need it, Ace, that's your call. It's the exact same thing of if I want to go and try every single drug known to man, put it in my body and see what happens, I should not have somebody behind me going, that's illegal, that's illegal. So shit it is, I can do it if I want. The reason I can't do it is because these laws are in place saying it's an illegal drug. Don't break the law. But my mindset is it should not be an illegal drug. All drugs should be a case of, if you want to take it, that's it. The consequences that will arrive from it is your responsibility. We've got to a point where it's too much that governments or hierarchies or anything like that are running the lives of everybody. Oh, you're not allowed to eat that because that's got too much fat, so we're taking that away. You're not allowed to do this because it's got too much of this, we're taking that away. You can't do this because we're telling you can't do that. That is not how it should be. If I want to eat a KFC bucket while taking LSD and fighting an invisible dragon, that's on me. That's what I want to do. That should be it. But if somebody wants to go eat their vegetables, no have drugs, no have drink, no have thyroid, that's you. I've really not got a problem. It's the exact same thing as me personally. I don't have any affirmation towards religion. It's just I've not had any proof to prove that religion is real, that God's real, or anything like that. I would never go to someone that is a devout Catholic or a Christian or anything like that believes in God and tell them to their face that they're wrong, they're stupid, what a fucking idiot you are, because I understand that even though I don't believe in it, the power for them and faith and the belief and all that kind of stuff is what gets them through their hard and difficult times. And who the fuck am I to turn around and tell somebody that that's wrong? That's on them. If you want to believe in that, that's fine. I think you don't push it on me and tell me I'm wrong. I don't push it on you. You go and do what makes you happy. You go and do what makes you live. And I'm cool with that, as long as I get the respect to think me at that.
Well, I want to interject real quick. I'm not advocating that you should only be able to take it if it's legal. Don't get that twisted. What I mean is if it's in a medicinal setting and it proves that it has benefits, it should be available for everybody. Like it should be access. If you want to do psychedelics or anything that you want to do, I'm fine with it. You do you. My issue comes from certain harmful substances can severely fuck things up for people, and I don't necessarily want them labeled as illegal, but I want the knowledge disseminated in a way so that people who want to do these things can have an informed decision of, yes, this will fuck me up, and I know that the consequence could fuck my life up. I want it where that, like, I don't want the crack dealer on the corner dealing crack to kids. That's what I want. I don't want a government fat cat telling me what I can and can't do either. I want it where it's to the fact that it's not some dude preying on a wayward teen or some dude preying on a challenged individual who is going to have access to the stuff where they don't have the proper understanding of the consequences. That's what I'm for. I'm not for some government fat cat going, Chris, you can't have that. Chris, you can't have that. Rick, Dox, you can't have that. Not at all. Don't get that twisted. And I know you don't. But I wanted to clarify that because that's not at all what I'm advocating for. What I want is the shit that will help us. It needs to be accessible and covered by insurance so that people who need it can have access to it. If you want to go out and buy it and fucking party, by all means. But I also don't want the fucking dealer on the corner with a gun in a car giving that shit to a 15-year-old. I don't want that at all.
What you have to remember, though, is at the moment, the drug dealer that's on the corner with a gun selling it to the 15-year-old is because it's difficult to get, and that's how people have to get it. If it was made readily available, it was not illegal, people could, like, look at marijuana. How many drug dealers do you know that now sell marijuana in most states in America? Because you could just go and buy it anywhere.
Yeah, it kind of dropped off.
It's a saturated market. It's actually cheaper now because more people are able to get it. If you were to not necessarily flood the market and put all these hardcore drugs, but if you were able to create a setting in which people can safely go and purchase these things, you will not have your drug dealers on the corner, because the drug dealers only make money because they're selling stuff that you can't get. If you can get it in your local Target, like, drug dealers are not going. You don't get ironing board dealers on every corner because Target and ironing boards are illegal. Like, that's the way I see it, is that, like, it's only made filthy because it's illegal and people are trying to get it any which way, which means because it's illegal and difficult, that's where the drug dealers will start going, well, we've only got a wee bit, so we'll start mixing it with this stuff and mixing it with that stuff that isn't actually like DMT now. It's some form of everything's put into the one that's going to fuck everybody up.
Yeah,
whereas if it was an actual setting of it's safe, this is 100% what it's supposed to be, you can get it cheaper, it's readily available, you'll not have the shitty underworld of it.
Yeah, it's the argument of access over demonization, right?
Exactly.
All too often we demonize drugs or sex or rock and roll or whatever. So once you demonize things or whatever, people want it more. And they're going to seek it out because they don't want to be told that it's bad. It's like with my kids. We talk about everything. Sex feels great. Be safe. No means no. Make sure you're of legal age to deal with it because you don't want to deal with the consequences. I'm not going to sit here and tell them, oh, sex is bad, and then be up in the bedroom handling my business. Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, so when the topics of drugs have come up or alcohol has come up, we've been very frank. This is what it does. This is how it will affect you. These are the potential consequences. You will not bring drugs into my home. But if you're out on your own and you experiment, that's you. But know what you're getting into.
Yeah, make sure you're safe. Make sure you know exactly the ins and outs is what's got. Make sure you know where that's coming from, and
exactly.
It's 100% what you're asking for. Yeah, I totally agree, and that's other things that would come with the thing, because it's like the other thing you have to look at is. Did you say that there's like dealers, like you could walk down the street and get to a dealer for drugs?
Fuck yeah, in my neighborhood. Oh yeah.
So why don't you do it?
Because I don't want to.
Exactly. So if they were readily available, would you go and do it?
Not really. It's not my thing.
Exactly. So the fact that they're made illegal doesn't stop or force people into doing it, because the same people that want to do it will go and get it any way they can now, or will go and get it when it's readily available. If you don't have the intention of doing it, you're not going to go and do it while it's illegal. You're not going to.
Right.
So that's just a counter argument of, well, what's stopping people being illegal? Because like you said, like if you know what's going on about it, most people still won't go.
Right.
You go to Holland, they're like marijuana is pretty much legal there. There's some places that are still a bit touchy on that kind of stuff, but you have times where you're allowed to carry a certain amount and that kind of stuff. There's police officers that carry a certain amount because they do it as well.
Right.
So, but if you would actually go to Holland and ask about, not everybody smokes heroin or no heroin and marijuana.
Hashish or heroin,
even though it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So they have it available, it's legal, but they don't do it. It's the same with prostitution, legal in Amsterdam and stuff like that. Not every Dutch person goes and sleeps with a prostitute.
Yeah, I actually...
Just because it's there doesn't mean they're going to do it. So it's like, when you're looking at drugs, like again, like methadone and heroin, where there's no benefit to your health of using it, they're ones that should not be there. But the ones where it's like your psychedelics and that, where you're pretty much just going to have a good time, there's no bad thing that comes from it. The only bad things that will come it is if you have an experience and then you end up going and murdering 3 children and that. But that's where the consequences comes of, if they're legal, you have every information to do it and you have that. You cannot have the argument of he was on drugs and was not at a good state of mind.
Yes.
No, you get locked up for that shit because you knew what you were getting into before you done it. It's a legal substance. It's the same with like when like if you turned around and got drunk, and like I'm not saying you would. This is just complete hypothetical.
Right.
But you turned and hit or beat B, or you hit one of your kids, right?
Right.
The police aren't going to turn around and go, oh, he'd been drinking alcohol, we'll just fling him in the slammer. No, you get hit with the full extent of the law.
Yep.
That's the same. Right now, if you're on marijuana, you're on a substance that means it gets down with, it's more of a psychoanalysis, and we have to see if he was in a sound state of mind. No, if it's legal, if you're on drugs and you do something like that, you still get hit with the law.
Right.
The same way as alcohol gets hit.
Yeah.
So just because you've had a drink doesn't mean that you can go around and start knocking fuck out anybody you want.
Yeah,
you get locked up. So that's how I see it, is that there's only good things that would come from it, and then you can start having other fucking stores that start selling this stuff. There's another, like, because at the moment, like, there's a bunch of drugs, like, in the UK, drugs are everywhere.
Yeah.
Do the government make any money on it? Fuck no, because there's no taxation. Tax the shit.
Tax it, regulate it, make some money off it.
Imagine if the UK started taxing coke. You're sitting here and you're listening to people, footballers are on £3,000 a week coke habits.
Right.
You're like, the government would be fucking rolling in it.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, to bring it back to the article, the science is there. Like, the evidence is there. Shit like DMT, ayahuasca, psilocybin, even synthesized LSD, like, has a very provable, discernible, beneficial effect to people who have severe mental health issues. And it shouldn't even be a debate anymore. Make the shit legal. Make it available on insurance. Make it effective, because lithium, Ritalin, all that shit fucks you up, dude. It messes your mind up.
Yeah.
It doesn't even mess it messes your mind up, but it also messes up your liver, your pancreas, your stomach. And yet you could microdose on DMT. Your brain gets reset, essentially, because that's pretty much what's going on. Is when DMT hits, it sort of resets your circuitry, kind of reboots your system from everything I've read. Because I've done the research. I listened to a bunch of podcasts that talk about it. It basically resets your brain and allows you to, accelerate the healing through your trauma. Then why don't we have that shit? Like, make the shit affordable, available, and stop fucking suppressing it because you're hurting people.
Yeah, and the one thing that I do love, like, touching on the story, is the fact that they're doing it the right way, and the fact, like, they're doing so much research so that they can go with everything and be like, there is physically no downside to this. Like that 2014 they done searches on it for addiction. The 2016 they done it for palliative care. 2017 they started for depression. They're going through it and making sure they research and do it right.
Yep.
So that there's nothing that can go wrong, and they can go, here is every bit of evidence as to why we should do this. And it's the right way to do it, because they're making sure everything is safe. They've not just went, oh, this does this, let's roll it out. They've went, no, we've been doing it for 7 years. Let's keep on making sure, let's get every outcome possible. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about this story.
Yeah, the story ends on a good note, because they did talk about the trials of palliative care. You're right, and I think it's a good thing overall. Like, drugs are always going to be an issue, no matter if they're legal or not. For some people, like you said, those that want to do them, those that want to abuse them, are going to, whether they're legal or not. So I might as well have it safely done, controlled, educated populace, so that we don't have the fucking dude on the corner with a gun selling to a 15-year-old. Bottom line.
Yeah.
So the last story we're gonna talk about before we wrap up, and again, we're hitting the longies tonight. I hope you guys like long form content because I sure as fuck do. One of archaeology's greatest mysteries nearly solved as scientists pieced together the 2,000-year-old astronomy calculator. Now, do you know about this device, Chris?
No, I've literally just opened up the thing there just to have a wee little look. So I'm hoping that you can explain everything to me.
I can't explain everything because I'm not an expert, but I can give you sort of a brief overview. It's called the Ankythera mechanism. Basically, this is a device that was discovered in like ancient Greece, in the Peloponnesian Sea around 1901. And ever since then, we've tried to figure out what the fuck this thing is. Well, it turns out that this thing is, in the most basic ass way I can tell you, is it's the world's first analog computer for calculating the movement of the stars. Okay? And we don't know how it works. Like, we didn't know how it works. Nothing. That was the assumption based off of what we knew. Well, apparently, according to this article, they're starting to figure that motherfucker out. They're starting to figure out how it works, what it does. Yeah, and they have even been able to build a functioning replica of the device with modern tools. So the gist of this thing is, for a long time the debate was, when were computers made? You know, the Turing test, blah 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 blah. Well, you have this device, and then you have there's a Chinese device that have put claim to we've had computers way before than we do now. They're just not the form or the function that you thought they were. There were devices that can calculate celestial movement and complex numerical things using clockwork device mechanisms and precious jewels and metals to do what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, my brain. Exponentially difficult calculations, right?
Yeah.
Like just ungodly levels of like difficult problems, like the movement of constellations in the stars, celestial drifts, stuff like that. And this device has now been sort of discovered that, yes, this is in fact what we thought it was. And as the article breaks it down, the gears all work for different things. Like, one position is a representation of the sun, the other position is a representation of Venus. And when the device moves, it predicts those movements. And for the...
Interesting.
It's just... I know I'm not doing it justice, and I want to make sure that I'm going to tweet this article out, because figuring out how this device works sort of revolutionizes the understanding of human concept of celestial movement and mathematics. And it just goes to show that, quote unquote, primitive peoples weren't that fucking primitive, bottom line. That on some levels, we are more primitive than they were. And like,
these guys were fucking insane.
Like the article kind of breaks it down. The front cover of the device talks about planetary cycles. The front plate has star events. The back plate has month names, eclipse characteristics, eclipse glyphs, and then the back cover has like a description of the cosmos, the calendar structure, and moon and sun cycles, all in like a little device that's about the size of a dictionary, like one of the big dictionaries. It's just the level of engineering and understanding and knowledge you have to do to build a device like this astounds and intrigues me to another. Because I love space. I love space and I love underwater. And the fact that we had a complex understanding of it without massive computers calculating those things just goes to show that the capabilities of the human mind unburdened, unchained, so to speak. Somebody or a group of somebodies were given the time to just be like, we can do this. And they did it like 2,000 years ago. Like this was discovered in like this is from like an ancient Greek device. Like, and this article breaks down how it works. And the fact that we figured out after 2,000 years how this first computer calculates celestial movement can only benefit us going forward, because we can learn from this. We can better tune our own trip to the stars by using understanding of our past. It's so exciting to me. And just the way they break it down is just so, like, you have to read the article, because the level of knowledge and understanding, it's stupid. It's stupid in all the right ways.
Yeah, I've found a video on the Antikythera mechanism as well that I'm going to add into the kind of descriptions and stuff, so that you can, as well as reading the article, there's a video at the end, so I'll attach that in the descriptions as well. Good. But I'll definitely, I mean, I would say I'll read it right now, but like,
yeah, you gotta hit the rack. Yeah, you gotta hit the rack. I gotta edit the podcast and do an RPG at the same time. So yeah, I feel you. But yeah,
it's definitely, I do agree that just the way you've kind of explained it, and just touching on kind of like the beginnings and stuff, it does seem like such an amazing, like, ground discovery sort of situation to be in. And I will be and I do implore anybody listening and watching on YouTube to always check out the descriptions, because as much as we can talk about it, you doing your own research is exactly that's the point we've been trying to make throughout. Is that's why we leave in the description the links that we've got, the links that we use and stuff. Like, you can go in and educate yourself further, and then maybe go into a bit of a wormhole where you start going down all the different tunnels and finding out more. So I always do your research and education, because, as Doc says, he doesn't feel he's doing it justice.
I can't. I read the article thoroughly, and I cannot articulately enough describe how monumental understanding this mechanism could be for, like, interstellar travel, celestial drift. Like, just, I'm not underselling it. Like, I'm not overselling it. This device has boggled scientists' mind for hundreds of years. And the fact that we have figured out what this device does, and that we have the capability of doing this 2,000 years ago, just makes you want to, like, put on the humanity t-shirt, get the dumb foam finger, drink a beer, and be like, yes, fucking humanity, let's fucking go. Gotta do it. You gotta look into it. You have to. It's amazing. I cannot stress enough how groundbreaking an understanding of this device could be for us moving forward. You have to look into it.
Yeah,
all right. All right, buddy. We're gonna kind of wrap it up. So, who are you? Where can they find you? Reach out to you.
Yeah, I am Chris. I am the drunk Scottishman that I am slowly falling asleep. Yeah, I do apologise. You can find me on Twitter at ChrisC90. Again, all the links will be in the descriptions and stuff like that.
Which YouTube.
If you don't have Twitter, you can reach us on the YouTube channels. You can reach us if you're feeling a bit gallus. You can always join the Discord to get involved in the conversations there.
Yeah, we're gonna make a Drunk Tank channel for people who want to discuss Drunk Tank topics and research too, for Discord.
Yeah. So, like, get us in there, or you can, if you don't want to add random people onto Twitter, and you know Dox or anything like that, get in touch. Yeah. So just get in touch. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know anything that you want to add in on the things. If there's anybody out there that what we are trying to talk about and you want to share a bit more education, please fucking get in touch, because anybody that has real proper knowledge of anything that we're talking about is always welcome, because I'm always looking to try and get more educated myself, because I know I don't know everything. There's always somebody that will know something more than me. So get in touch, share your opinions, share your thoughts. If there's anything that you think that you'd like to hear us kind of discuss, or you want to bring to our attention so that we can look up and see if it's worth getting kind of involved, do that as well. But
Sure.
yeah, that's the best way, because we want you to be involved as well. We want you to follow along on this journey, get involved, get your points across, because it's the only way anybody will ever learn is until someone that knows comes to us.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Share your knowledge, educate us, because we're two guys from different parts of the world who've experienced a lot, but we don't know everything. So share your knowledge, share your thoughts, share your conversation. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks, we'll be back to doing this live so that we can have that sort of interaction with people in real time. But yeah, dude, like Chris said, I'm DoxRyan. You can get at me on fucking Twitter. If you don't want to add me on Twitter, DM me. My DMs are open. Hit me up on my Twitch channel in the chat. Hit me up on YouTube when I start exporting my stuff to my channel. Follow Chris's channel. Like, get at us any way you can to kind of share your thoughts and your feedback, because we don't grow if we don't hear other points of view. And the one thing I want to end on is somebody, and I don't know where the quote comes from, a wiser man than I once said, "The day you stop learning is the day you start dying." And I don't
completely agree.
I ain't got time to start dying, so drop that knowledge on us, brother. So hey, Chris, say goodbye, buddy.
Yeah, see you all later. See you all next week. Hope to have you around longer.
Yeah, they'll be here. That's your voice. It brings them to your milkshake. Brings all the viewers to the yard, and they're like,
"Yeah, I'll try and be a little bit more professional next week and not be absolutely drunk off my tits."
You're fine. I like you this way. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later, Chris. I gotta run actually, so I won't be able to hang around and talk to you afterwards.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, I'll get everything shot to you by the morning though, because I'm gonna edit while I'm doing the RPG. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Yeah, sweet.
Later.
Yeah.